love. Teach us true respect for all. Serve response to duty's call. Strengthen us that we to cherish. Give us vision lest we perish. Knowledge send us. Heavenly Father, grant true wisdom from above. Justice, truth be yours forever, Jamaica, land we love. Jamaica, 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 land we love. Shall we be seated, please? Thank you much, Reverend Andy Burton. Devotion is what prepared us to face the day. Is what prepared us and is where we gather to ask for God's guidance on our journey out, on our journey in. Hence, the commencement of your day and the commencement of meetings of this nature, devotion is a very critical part of what is expected of us. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman watcheth in vain. Except the Lord build the roads, the residents will suffer in vain. And Superintendent, I need you to take a look at Malcolm Drive up in Bourke to see what work we can do to make the citizens who traverse that thoroughfare traverse in better comfort. So, Reverend Halliburton, you have said a lot. You have said a lot. And what struck me is when you speak of the richest blessings, is when you have done your best. And you have done your best in such a way of not to cheat, not to be partial in what you do, but in whatever you do, you seek God's guidance so He can guide you in your decisions and in your thought in a way in which the people who you seek to serve will benefit from your service. We all know that the children are our heritage. They are the men and women of tomorrow. We all know that a great part of the problem that we're having here in this country and in this city is irresponsible parents, fathers who don't live up to their responsibilities, mothers who have abandoned their responsibility. And until we get to that stage where we get to that old mantra that it takes a village to raise a child, then we will continue on this path for some time to come. in the future. So it was good to have you here this morning, sir. And I'm sure your deliveries has made us stronger and has made us more aware. And you have reinforced the values of good leadership. And I'm sure that as a man who I have known for over 44 years, I know you mean this city well. And when you speak to us in that tone, I know you speak to us not only as a man of God, but as a man who means Montego Bay and this parish very well. So once again, sir, thank you very much for accepting our invitation to come and share devotion with us this morning. Thank you, and may God continue to bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for summing it up that way.
Thank you. That's good.
It's even better than how I deliver it. So I leave it for you to pass it on. And I trust others have summed it up, even like our worship the mayor has done. And just run, run with it.
Okay, thank you.
Help somebody.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, man, we'll talk. Can I now have a notice convening a regular monthly meeting of the St. James Municipal Corporation?
Take notice that the regular monthly meeting of the St. James Municipal Corporation will be held in the Council Chamber, 19A Union Street, on Thursday, September 13, commencing at 10 a.m.
Thank you very much.
11.
Let me use this occasion to welcome the councillors who are present. Let me welcome our Chief Executive Officer acting, Ms. Cunningham, our Superintendent Bryce Grant, our Fire Chief, Mr. Dolphin Doman, Ms. Dove from the PDC, other members of staff of the St. James Municipal Corporation, members from the National Solid Waste Management Authority, members from the Public Health Department, persons who are sitting in the gallery, members of the media, and let me make special welcome to Councillor Troop, who has returned from his sabbatical. Let me say to all of us here in this council and in this chamber that the highest decorum is expected of all of us, and we must seek to give respect to others, and in giving respect to others, I'm sure others will reciprocate that gesture. So thank you for being back, Councillor Troop. Is there any apologies for absence? I will apologize for our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Leroy Williams, who is unavoidable absent this morning. Councillor Dwight Crawford will be late. He's attending a function representing the mayor. So I was about to rise, madam.
Apology for Shamar Campbell, internal auditor, sir.
Okay, Ms. Campbell, internal auditor. Any other apology? There be no other apology. Can I now have a motion confirming the minutes for this meeting? Any correction, any addition? Can I have a motion?
Sir,
Sorry.
Mr. Chairman, good morning, sir. I just want to make a correction to the minutes. Report from the St. James Fire Brigade. Mr. Doman in this presentation and it is saying 4 of the 5 ambulances underwent maintenance recently. That should have been 4 of the 5 units. And
Not
five
ambulances, just units.
Yes, sir.
Can that correction be made as pointed out by the fire chief? There be no further correction. Can I now have a motion? Can I have a motion from the councillors? Yes, yes, yes. Can I have a, yes? We will now goes to matters arising. And those of you who are in possession of your hard copy or soft copy, let us now turn to page 1448. And is the, what is happening to the, huh? You know, I am going to say it here. I'm going to say it here. I don't know what is the problem, but this meeting is a monthly meeting. And I would expect that whatever IT glitches there are, we should have sorted it out long before the commencement of this meeting. And Madam CEO, I need a report from you as it relates to why. And it has happened several times. We cannot allow this type of behavior to be taking place. We're under the eyes of the media. We're under the eyes of the cameras. And I would regard it as quite embarrassing, to say the least. So those of us who were sent copies of the minutes, we will now turn to page 1448. Superintendent, you have a number of matters to report on. Can you now proceed?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman.
Morning.
Good morning, councillors. Good morning, staff members. Good morning, all persons from agencies, media, and also in the gallery. Regarding the South Gully, which under the cleaning of gullies, when we were evaluating the cleaning of the South Gully, it was obvious that it is going to be a major project, and it would have been very costly if we have not in possession of the equipment that is required to do so. I have contacted the NWA from what Senator Councillor Sinclair suggested, that there was an equipment that was handed over to NWA when the South Gully was constructed. And in fact, there is an equipment at the flanker's office that was used once to clean the gully at the initial stage, just to to clean it, just for an example, to show how it works. So therefore, it is at the flanker's office. It has not been used since that. So the parish manager and I had some discussion, and he is going to get this drag link. It's an equipment that is referred to as a drag link, which will clean the drain operational as soon as possible so that he can assist in the cleaning of the South Gully. The North Gully, just to report that NWA have done a study and an estimate and send it off on Tuesday, which will be falling under the disaster mitigation program. So it will be utilizing a program that they have for the preparation of the hurricane season. So I'm expecting that the North Gully tributaries will get some additional attention very shortly. We continue our Leadman program at the lower end of the gully. Just to go now on to the other item, roads within the parish. Under our local road maintenance program, under the Parochial Revenue Fund, we asphalted some roads, namely Hibiscus over the period of July and August, Hibiscus Road, Comfort Hall Road, sections of Comfort Hall, some areas around the city of Montego Bay, Cornish Road, Mall Road, and Road 41. We have done preparation works on Bamboo Drive in the Greenwood area. We also have received funding from TEF in relation to Johns Hall Main Road. We are 90% complete on that project, and we also did a gabion work along, which is a retaining wall, river training along the Johns Hall Main Road, and it is 90% complete. It should be completed by the weekend. We also have received funding from under TEF for Virgin Valley Road, and we are at 45% of the scope at this time. We have also received funding for the rehabilitation of Kent Avenue, and within 2 weeks we will be sending out tenders for that project. Under the Constituency Development Fund, we have received monies for, and I mentioned earlier in under program, it should have been under the CDF. Sidewalk improvement project in St. James Northwest, we have received funding for same, and we have completed, and that is in the Carroll Gardens area. We have received funding on the CDF for chucking of water from St. James, under St. James South. Also Cambridge Community Center, and also Lima Road. We have received some funding from under the CDF for Lima Road. The NWA have sent me a report regarding their projects and infrastructure projects under major infrastructure development program. The 4th Street, 95% complete. 6th Street, 98% complete, and this is in the Farm Heights area. Bogue Hill, 20% complete. Home Hill to Iron Shore, that's 98% complete, and that is section of Quebec Avenue. Felicity Road, 98% complete. Flower Hill to Torado Heights, 95% complete. Flower Hill, 100% complete. Mount Salem, upper to Upper King Street, 80% complete. Point to Flamsteed Gardens, 20% complete. Sorry. Rosemount, Rose Heights, 99% complete. Valencia Drive, 98% complete. And Johnson Hill, 95% complete. Under the local rehabilitation and drainage improvement program, Blue Hole, which is $12 million that was spent in Blue Hole, is 100% complete. Barnet to Adelphi, 100% complete. Marchman to Washfoot Gully, 100% complete. Anchovy to Shecklewood, 100% complete. Quarry Road, 10% complete. And Quarry Gully, 20% complete. Under the zone of special operation works, Crawford Street, 70% complete. Piggott Street, 70% complete. And Peddlers Lane, 30% complete. An additional $42 million has been allocated to this program, which will see additional works in the Mount Salem area. There are some plans in place to do patching program on some of these NWA roads, and this will be done in-house. That is from the report. Under the North Coast Highway, remedial works was done to correct depression along the Elegant Corridor. Additional works will commence in short order because, as you know, there was just one of the section of the depression they corrected. They said they will focus on section of Fairfield to Point and Adelphi to Kent under this project also. They have looked on a breakaway in the Point area, Point to Flamsteed, and this will be done under the major infrastructure development program. Long Hill, I have spoken to the parish manager in relation to Long Hill. They have been requested to separate an estimate that they did, and they were to just look on the areas that relate to the rails, and they did that and send it off to their head office recently. At this time, I'll take my seat. So questions could be asked.
Where is? Tell me something, Sue.
Yes.
All these roads are in St. James?
Yes, sir. This is from the parish of St. James and from the local office, local St. James parish office. Reports.
Okay.
Plus ours is for local for St.
Councillors, now that you have heard the extensive road repair programs that have taken place and that is still taking place in the parish of St. James, is there any comments from the councillors? There being no comments, I would say that all is satisfied. Yes, let me recognize Councillor Thomas. Yes, good morning.
find that it's not working.
Members from the NWA here, right? But my concern, Mr. Chairman, is regarding the monitoring and the quality of some of the works. And I'm in particularly concerned about the quality of the work on the main Mount Salem main road. For in observation there, the methods of preparation is not correctly. The method of and the right equipment for the paving are not in place or being used. So we're going to spend all this money and lay all this asphalt, and the quality of what we have as the end is not what we would like to have. And I need the NWA and I need the parish council to pay greater attention to the quality control measures being used on these roads. I've already have complaints, even though I've seen it myself, and even though I have to get involved in speaking to the NWA about the quality of the work and stop some of the sections and let them prepare the work properly. Complaints from people of how bumpy that asphalt that I just lay is out there. And while we're doing it, let us pay particular attention to the taxpayers' dollars that we are putting down, that it is done correctly, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much for that observation, and that is something that I would implore the superintendent to do, to make sure that he doesn't only accept a report from NWA, but he is to do a physical check to see that the quality of these works are done in a way in which it can be lasting. And Siup, you didn't mention about what is taking place in Granville from JSIF, and you haven't mentioned anything about the road from Tucker to Friendship, where some $77 million will be expended, and up in Granville, where JSIF is expending some $110 million to the pleasure of the councillor and the member of parliament. And you know, I have always said these things are being done to the benefit of the people. And that is what we seek to do, to make lives better for the people. Siup, that is the end of your first round of reporting. All right. I would make an observation though, that even though they were able to correct some of what was existing in terms of the depression out on the Elegant Corridor, I don't think all is well. There are still some areas out there that not as bad as the one that they have corrected, but there are others out there that, in my opinion, if you correct them now, the expenditure will be far less. So I think we can look at those. Request for funds from the equalization fund.
Yeah, Mr. On the R55, the fire station project at Freeport has been completed. As was said earlier, in another meeting where we had some additional works, we have also completed those additional works. Camp Road, on the equalization fund, work has commenced. We are at 60% of the scope at this time, and we don't have any other equalization fund on the technical area at this time.
This fire station money you're talking about is the repairs that is now taking place at the fire station?
Yes.
All right. I have spoken at another place yesterday. And I need for the reason why that repairs was done. I need the same publicity to be had at the end of that works. Because I have already spoken to Mr. Doman that what had taken place there as a partner, I don't think it had was to reach that level, but he said he wasn't even aware of when the media was invited down there. And it created headline news in the paper or on TV that there was this major deterioration of areas of the fire station at Freeport. Our firemen is very dear to us. So we don't really want our firemen to be living and working in condition which is not acceptable. And I'm saying it to our fire chief that when there are issues like that, bring it to our attention so we can get these matters be dealt with, because based on what came on the news at the time, it sounded as if the fire station was falling apart. That's how it came across, and that is why when the minister called me that night, he was so livid. And I had just to confess to him that we weren't aware of the problem. Immediately we took action. We got an estimate done, and the estimate was a little over $2 million. Suffice it to say that the repairs have been done. It required an additional little over $100,000. And we have taken the position at finance meeting yesterday that $1 million, that $100,000 should be made available forthwith to complete whatever repairs that need to be done. So I'm hoping that at the end of it, the work that was done there can be highlighted, whether by us or by the same people who had actually reported the matter. Report made, report dealt with, and report must be conveyed that the matter was dealt with. So once again, thanks for moving in that fashion suit to have the firemen work and live in an area that is conducive to good order.
Just to add to that, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
the municipal corporation have received $6.5 million in August, and that was for education grant that falls under the municipal social assistance program funded by the Ministry of Local Government.
Thank you. And I must say, and I said it elsewhere yesterday, that never since I am here as a councillor, started last year, we have been getting an allocation every year to assist councillors, to assist persons in their respective division who are having challenge in sending their kids back to school. And if I am to single out our Minister of Local Government, Honorable Desmond McKenzie, I think as councillors, we should collectively pen a letter with all of us signatures thanking the minister for making this fund available to us as councillor so we can respond to some of those in our constituency that are undergoing very difficult and challenging times. So once again, let us convey to the minister our heartfelt gratitude for what he has been doing. And it's not only for us, it is the 230 councillors across Jamaica. There's no political color in this distribution of funds. We all, as councillors, receive an equal portion of funds to deal with it. Prior to that, I had us to struggle very hard when it comes to back to school, and I'm sure Councillor Troop is down there, he can attest to it. Councillor Sinclair can attest to it. Because we are the last of the Mohicans from the last administration. So, you know, he who feels it knows it. He calls that true? Good. So, yes, Councillor.
Yes, Mr. Chair. The members on this side are in total agreement with your sentiments expressed pertaining to the back
I
to
like
school.
your tie.
Thank you.
Seems to be wearing pink this
Thank you.
morning.
Pertaining to the sentiment you expressed pertaining to the back to school.
Thank
It
you.
was a tremendous help, and we really want to say thank you pertaining to that.
All right. Thank you, Councillor. Thank you. Thank you. Solid waste matters. Our activities in the parish of St. James. Can the representative identify his or herself? Because okay, thank you.
Good morning, Your Worship, distinguished guests. I am Shamika Lyle, Senior Public Defender for St. James and Trelawney with the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Shanika
Senior Public
Lyles?
Housing Inspector. Shamika Lyle.
Oh, L-Y-L.
L-Y-L.
Good, good, good. Yeah, okay, it's your time. The floor is yours. Give your report. And you're reporting on St. James.
Yes, I am.
Okay, good, good, thank you.
Okay, the report has been circulated. I will attempt to answer any questions that you may have or any concerns that you may have.
Councillors, the report, as said, has been circulated. And I'm sure you have gotten enough time to peruse it. If there's any questions or any concerns or any commendations, now is the time for you to make it known or forever hold thy peace.
Oh, see, they're working now. I thought it seems to be a control. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chairman, I observed that Mr. Garnet Edmondson, the Regional Operations Manager, is not present. And I would wish to know the reason why he's not present. Is he ill? Or has he chosen to go elsewhere? And to disregard St. James, which is the most significant parish under his portfolio. And it is a parish which for the past 2 to 3 months, at least, every community that I am aware of have been having issues with garbage collection. Even in the urban center of Montego Bay, garbage is gone uncollected. Every day I get complaint It's like you can't walk on the road in peace. You're going about your own personal business, and because people recognize you as being a local government representative, inquiries made about why no garbage is collected in my community or along my street for the past 3 to 4 weeks. And complaint after complaint, and then you get a little reactive response from the National Solid Waste to say that, oh, they're going to send a truck today. It is always today. It is never that a truck was sent because of a schedule. It is never that the situation is corrected before the people have to get more vociferous and call the local government representative, because I don't know if it is the inspectors that are to inspect the areas and not doing a proper inspection. In my division, trucks may go to a particular area, and then the report is, when you check, oh, the community was clean. But when you actually go and dig down into it now, you find there's only 2 roads that go on. And then they report that the community is clean. But I get in calls from Carl Gardens, I get calls from Iron Shore, I get calls from Flanker, I get calls from Providence Heights in my division. Ask if they have been forgotten. Not even to say that no thing will come collect. If they have been forgotten, meaning that it is a long time, they must see the collection. I saw somebody in Rhine Park this morning on social media saying that they have not seen the truck in their community. And what is happening is that persons in front of the person who posted it, as a professional person that did it, so that persons are dumping in the gully across from their house. And I say that to say this. Ms. Lyle, the first I see you coming to this meeting, it's not an easy meeting. It's not Trelawney or Westmoreland or Hanover. This is not no play meeting. The people inside here, them serious in respect to their advocacy and their representation. And Mr. Chairman, I am not standing here today and accept Ms. Lyle as being the representative for the National Solid Waste in the context in which we exist in this parish. I glimpsed on the report that was circulated, and I don't know if the hard copy is here, so I can easily, instead of trying to find it on the phone. But if I look on the section on page 4, backlog as at 25th of June, zone 1 was 20. I don't know if it means 20 days or what. Backlog as at the 25th of July, 23. The backlog 25th of August, gone up to 36. Zone 2, backlog 0 in June, 0 in July, and 2 in August. That includes Montego Bay, which I suspect is the urban center. Zone 1 is where I spoke to earlier, which is Flankers and some other communities. Zone 3, which is Bourg Village Retirement, praise the Lord, but they've gone from 25th of June, 22, increase to 32, and back to 22. So there's really no improvement because people are complaining from June. So they haven't improved beyond June. And I suppose summertime, when they say 22, 13, and 15, they are better than their June situation. But overall, the backlog is mounting 64, 68, and now 75 in August. Whatever, as I said, those numbers mean. So it is right across the parish when you look on their own report. There is an issue that came up in relation to derelict vehicles that came up before we went on recess regarding removal of derelict vehicles. And it was communicated to the National Solid Waste Management Authority in relation to the removal of derelict vehicles that were stickered by the municipal corporation, and we are to pass on the information to the National Solid Waste. They were supposed to have brought that report from July up until September in the commercial service meeting. That report has not been forthcoming to the council. And again, the clerk of that committee was asked to convey to Solid Waste Regional Manager that the report was provided for today. So in respect to that, I want to find out from the clerk whether the request was made and whether the request was answered to in respect to the removal of derelict vehicles, so that we don't get, and if we can have it specific. So I don't know what the style is going to say. She's referring us to the report and says she will take questions, and I suppose she'll write down comments. But as I said, in the context of what we are having, I don't think Ms. Lyle is a person that I want to see here today. So I want to see the regional manager. And wherever he is, I think he should be summoned to come here and to report on what is happening in this parish.
Thank you, Your Worship. I didn't necessarily want to talk after Councillor Sinking, but it's not that. And Ms. Lides, may you can control Mr. Mike? Okay, Ms. Lides, you say you're.
He's using this one.
You say you're a senior? And see them in your. You know Granville Division? You know Granville good? When last have you been to Granville? When my division, this life, taking all the garbage from Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James, and Trelawney. And it's the dirtiest. And my colleagues here, Councillor Singh, is worse than the mayor, and Councillor Bent, and Councillor Reid. I'm going to say it, and I say it since you have the new colleagues here, that are three agencies that are going to make you lose the seats. JPS, Water Commission, and National Waste of Time. His Worship, His Worship, His Worship, no joke. Solid Waste spend more time cleaning commercial garbage. All the new trucks are into commercial. And you could break down trucks with them higher are into domestic garbage, which only work today and don't work tomorrow. Mr. Chairman, all the divisions that I drove through,
all are full of garbage. And guess what, Mr. Chairman? We have a garbage problem now, but tomorrow we're going to have a public health problem because the garbage are breeding rats, roaches, and no mongoose. Yes. So, Mr. Chairman, Your Worship, if we are thinking about our health, this is the problem we have in St. James now. And this is the problem we have in St. James. We are thinking about the collection of garbage which is not being collected. We are talking about rats and mosquitoes and mongoose. And we are talking about the retirement dump that come on fire. We in St. James who's dead because we have everything is shown on us. I hear you said earlier, Mr. Mayor, that if solid waste, let us stop and think about the domestic garbage and pay more focus on the collection of, we'd have a better collection, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, in your position as mayor, you need to see that it happens, Mr. Chairman. Because every move we make as Councillor Sinclair said, every move, they're not quarreling with solid waste. They are saying the council not doing his duty. We are getting the blame here. And it's time for us to start getting the blame and throw the blame where it ought to be. I thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir. Unfortunately, our father, Mr. Chairman, I have a division that has the two main cemeteries. So on any given weekend, the numbers that are passing through my division number in the thousands. And as they pass through, that's the amount of phone calls that I get for garbage collection. And as much as you try your best to represent and carry out your function as a councillor, these phone calls at times leave you frustrated and embarrassed. The Custos has called, prominent members of society have called, because I have an illegal dump site in Orange, of which I've been begging. So even if it's on the weekend, please clean it. So that the persons passing to go to these different funerals or whatever they're passing through are not seeing it. And to no avail, such. So I'm making an additional plead. Please, the Orange illegal dump site, and it's facilitated by National Solid Waste Agency and others. It has to be cleaned at least once a week and preferably close to the weekends. Because the phone calls come in fast and furious when the garbage is overwhelming and scattered all over the roadway. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, thank you. I'm actually facing the same problem in my division, and it is actually becoming a problem within my home. Every single morning for the past 2 weeks, my wife woke up and the first thing she's saying, did you call the garbage man or the man that's supposed to deal with the garbage? And it becomes very annoying to me. I've been speaking with the supervisor for the Cornwall courts here in general for the past 2 weeks, Mr. Chair. And obviously there is a problem because he's saying we soon send a truck and for 2 weeks we don't have one. The Tartola way where I live, I'm ashamed to go home because it is stink. The lane is stink. And I am saying there must be a problem based on what he's saying to me for the past 2 weeks. And we must get to the bottom of what is happening so we can know how the garbage is going to be collected. So I am having the very same problem that almost all the councillors are having.
Collection in the parish continues to be affected by the breakdown of some of our government-owned trucks, supplementary units. Collection was also affected due to the no-show of some of our supplementary units because of financial constraints. Operations are being done with a below average fleet within the parish, which is insufficient to effectively clean the parish on schedule and minimize our backlogs. Efforts were made and we have welcomed the night shift. We have introduced tippers. We have beefed up our supervision efforts. We have reassigned units from other parishes to assist. We have outsourced work at our garage. 2 units are back with the expectation of 4 by the end of the month. I speak to Mr. Sinclair's, Councillor Sinclair's division. Providence was cleaned 2 days ago, Coral Gardens the same. Anshore, there's a unit currently in Anshore. There is a unit currently in Flankers since Monday, still there today. Rhine Park was collected tonight. Rhine Park was collected. Rhine Park was collected last night. So we're still making efforts to clean the parish as best as we can with the limited resources that we have. The illegal dump sites and non-compactable items are also prevalent in the parish, and these sites are closely monitored and cleaned on a regular basis as soon as a unit is available. Plans are in place to eradicate all illegal dump sites. The non-compactable items that were at Norwood were removed earlier this week, and we continue to do so on a timely manner. Thank you.
I have heard Councillor Sinclair, I've heard Councillor Troop, I've heard Councillor Magian, I've heard Councillor Reid, and I've heard Ms. Lyle. I cannot sit here it is progressively getting worse. I have been saying this from, not since my administration, not since the administration before mine, but from since I came here. And I look at how garbage can be collected. And let me say, I have more than a passing knowledge as it relates to transportation in whatever shape or form, as it relates to the parish of St. James. And we continue to have the problems year after year, administration after administration, because the NSWMA failed to do the correct things. Property tax is what is used to pay NSWMA. NSWMA focuses their attention, as Councillor Troop said, on commercial garbage. The explanation, in my opinion, doesn't add up. Because if we have private garbage collectors who were out there collecting the commercial garbage, it would have allowed NSWMA with their fleet and the supplementary fleet to focus better on collecting the residential garbage. Because let me say this, rarely you hear anyone from the commercial sector is complaining about garbage collection. Rarely. So what it is telling me, and this is where I'll be writing to the head of National Solid Waste Management Authority, the Minister of Local Government, and all the members of parliament in this parish, and all councillors, for us to sit down and look at how garbage is collected in the parish of St. James. The complaints are just too much. I know there are challenges that the National Solid Waste Management Authority is undergoing as it relates to motor vehicles. But I am sure we can do better than what we are now doing. And one of the ways in which we can do better is to focus National Solid Waste Management Authority units to focus on residential garbage. The money that we think that we are making from commercial garbage, we can make back that money in the form of tipping fee from the private contractors. If we are seriously looking at what we're doing. Because there's no private contractor that is going to go around and charge $500 for a bag of commercial garbage. That don't exist nowhere in the world. But, you know, I think there might be other reasons why we don't want to remove away. Because if you look at the money, and I think I've seen a breakdown some time ago, what they have collected. And when I do my own calculation, there's about 10 times that amount of money to collect per year. Garbage is a multi-million-dollar business. Big business, a multi-million-dollar business. Government cannot, and it has proven over the years, that government cannot run business. And when you start doing collection for commercial garbage, it is a government-run entity. And it has proven over the years, with the exception of a few, where compulsory payment is a must. Yeah, I'm sure you have people, many commercial properties, that is generating tons of garbage per year. Is not even paying as much as what their property tax amounts to. Right? I see our truck at KFC. That is private business. That is private business. Unleash that potential to private contractors, and you will see how fast they go and buy them truck and engage. Solid waste collect for the tipping fee. So instead of you charge $1,000, you charge $5,000 for tipping fee. And I'm sure we can generate probably 100,000 loads of commercial garbage per year. Do the calculation. And tell me if solid waste is making that amount of money from what is on the ground now for that they are now collecting for commercial garbage. We need to change the way in which we are thinking. It is a thinking from previous executive directors. It is a thinking. It is a thinking from previous, and it's as if they are in this old mode. And for us to be progressive, for us to see good governance, we must be able to can change course. And I don't think that solid waste can continue to do both. Government don't run good business. They don't run good business. And several entities are there that you can use as an example. Let us unleash the entrepreneurial spirit of persons who want to engage in garbage collection in commercial areas. Because there are several communities, that employs private garbage truck to collect their garbage. They don't have a problem. They don't have a problem because the garbage truck going once per week. The residents pay a fixed amount of money to their citizen association. And their place is as clean as a whistle. Right? And it is private garbage contractors. They're never late. If it's Wednesday, by the time you reach home, 10 o'clock Wednesday morning, everything is clear up and gone. So this is why I'm saying to the National Solid Waste Management Authority that they need to change course, councillor. It cannot work because you cannot manage. It's harder to move a truck in town by virtue of traversing the lanes than to move a truck from Cambridge down to Anchovy. So let us change the discussion. Let us change the discussion. Let us change the discussion. Let the solid waste meet with the various private garbage contractors, meet with the commercial people and say, listen, as of next month, you will have to engage the service of a private contractor to take over. At one point, it was like that, At one point, it was like that. At one point, there were several small contractors around Montego Bay that have their people who they go and collect the garbage. But what? We think we can collect the garbage and collect the money. We can't do it. We don't have the capacity to do it. So don't let us continue going down that road. And that will be a part of my discussion when I convene that meeting. It cannot. And it doesn't make sense to show me how much money they are making. Because I know commercial garbage is much more than domestic garbage. Domestic garbage only appears enough because you pick it up every 3 or 4 weeks. That's why it appears enough. Because most people who live in rural parts, they use the banana peeling, the yam peeling and stuff like that and throw out them flowers. So let us understand it. If you have 1 month of commercial garbage pile up in the city, you could not even fly over it. Right? So don't think that what you see out there, I experience it. It's not 1 week of non-garbage. It's not 2 weeks. It's not 3 weeks. It's usually 4 or 5 weeks. The citizens are satisfied to see it once every 2 weeks, But when they start crying out now, it's after 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Believe me. Right? And then it becomes a nuisance in their own yard. Because you pack it up until you can't pack it up anymore. So I think councillors and NSWMA, we need to have a different discussion. It cannot continue like this. It must not continue. Right? I'm not even going to talk about the importance of Montego Bay, because there's no doubt that we are the most important city in the Caribbean and the most important parish in Jamaica. Right? So there's no doubt in that. But we need to have a different, let us do it in St. James. They can do it otherwise in other parishes. But let us remove commercial garbage collection from NSWMA in St. James. They can practice it elsewhere. It don't work in St. James. And as Councillor Troop always reminds us, but it has never yet affected him. We're National Solid Waste Management Authority, Jamaica Public Service, and NWC will cause you to lose your election. You're an example that they don't cause you to lose your election. Because you have been elected now, 5 times? 5 times. So that don't go for you. So, but Madam Chief Senior Inspector, I want you to take that sentiment back to your Regional Operations Department Manager. And we don't mean no ill will. All we mean for this parish and this city is good. I don't want it to be viewed as if we are on a collision course with National Solid Waste Management Authority. We are not. They are our partners. And as Councillor Sinclair said, you know, and we must defend our parish. This is the premier parish in the county of Cornwall. So the idea of having the regional operation manager here, and we did not get an apology, right? It will send the wrong signal. But we are prepared to partner with Solid Waste, but we need to have a discussion, because we are saying in St. James, we don't need NSWMA trucks to focus. You hear the hotels are crying. The hotels are not crying. Certain properties are not crying because their garbage is being privately collected, whether by Solid Waste, because it is a priority. Because based on my understanding, a contract has been signed that the garbage has to be taken up within a certain time. Right? You don't sign a contract with the average residents. You don't. You don't. You don't. But there's no commercial entity that you sign a contract with. You can go 3-4 days without collecting their garbage. Then kill you. Then we told you check. Well, the script need to change. And that's all we're saying. And I'm prepared to, Madam CEO, we need to arrange that meeting with the head of National Solid Waste Management Authority, the Minister of Local Government, if his input will be deemed, the regional operation managers, and we can also write to all the members of Parliament, because they are having the problems, but they don't come to this meeting. But the councillors who represents them or represents the constituency comes to this meeting. Right? And Councillor Magian, I would just say what you're having around in your neck of the woods there, yes, there's a ugly built up, but most of that built up, you know, is caused from persons who are involved in commercial activities like cook shops and all these things. So what they do, they probably don't make the necessary arrangements to properly cauterize their own garbage. So they use what you deem as illegal dump site. But I would call them illegal dump site. They become necessary because the legal way of collecting garbage is not working. So they just take the garbage to a location away from their area, hoping that it wouldn't have to stay there for 4 weeks. And Councillor Magian sent me some picture on Sunday. And if I had looked at it before I have my Sunday dinner, probably I would not have eaten. It wasn't looking good. So I want to convey not our sentiment, but our disgust to the National Solid Waste Management Authority. And we need to have that meeting. Thank you very much.
With respect to whether the commercial services might receive the information from MSW, what efforts she made in seeking to get it, when those efforts were made, and as I said, there has been a response.
Okay, there's a paragraph here. Mrs. Smart, report on what your section should have done.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On a monthly basis, we do send the list to the National Solid Waste Management Authority that we have served notices on. We have not, since July meeting, we requested a list. Prior to the meeting in July, we requested a list of all the vehicles that were taken out, so we could do reconciliation of hours that we have sent. We have not received that list. However, yesterday, that's the 12th, I received a correspondence from CEO from the National Solid Waste Management Authority. They referred to two of our letters, the one for August and September, and that the company's crane truck is currently out of service. However, we are anticipating that the unit will be back in operation by tomorrow, which is today, 13th, at which point we will send a schedule for the removal of the vehicle listed. So I responded to this email, and I asked him for the response to the list we sent in July. He verbally said that it was sent. I'm still awaiting. I have not seen it in the email. So I thought he would have taken that report this morning.
Okay. All right, that's satisfied. Non-action. Two, you know, as I said, I have a little bit more than a passing knowledge of how these things are done. And the way in which derelict vehicle being removed. If we have a truck assigned from the National Solid Waste Management Authority, doing it as how they are doing it, I guarantee you, I give them for the next 365 days, they would never cart away the vehicles. I happened to drive on Tucker Road several times. And when you look, the truck is going around with a little whole car front, a little whole car back. That's not how you move derelict vehicles. You have to have a piece of equipment that flattens out these vehicles. So you can pick up 10 old cars. And whether you use a tractor and flatten it out, and you can stockpile it 2 and 3 on a flatbed truck. I remember once, a couple of years ago, there was some cleanup between Norwood flankers all over St. James. And I have seen trailer would put 9, just press them down, old van, press them down to compaction of no more than 2 or 3 feet high. Press them down. And you just stockpile them and you just chain them down. And in the space of a day, you could take out 30, 40 of those vehicles. The easiest thing is when you go to the dump, you just drive up, the tractor just push them off. How they do it at solid waste, it can't work. You have 2 men on the back of the truck and you burn 10,000 out of gas oil. You go to green or take up one little piece of old car and carry go back to waste of time. Waste of time and waste of government resources. These things need to be sit, and this is a part of the discussion that we need to have, because we are wasting our time. We are wasting our time if we think that the little flatbed truck, them have with a little crane that hook it up and put it there and put it there, is a total waste of time. Look at how we do business. We need to look at how we do business. I'm sure that we can get private contractors to move these things and move them quick at a less cost. I take you 10 trips, 100,000 out of gas oil to put 10. You take 1 truck to carry 10 at any one time and deal with it. Can't work like that. Can't work. We need to, that's supposed to be a part of the agenda when we meet to discuss these things. Because I don't think, yes, resources are not infinite. Not infinite. But I'm sure we can do things better than we are now doing it. It causes us too much trauma. So once again, Mrs. Smash, continue following up. But I'm sure we get back here next month. They're going to come and say they remove 10, but they remove 10 out of 1,500. And the problem don't solve. Right? We need to once and for all deal with some of these derelict vehicles. Because we see what they did in Irwin. We see what they did with them in Kingston. They use them as blockades for roadblocks and other things. So, you know, we need to have some serious discussion. Thank you very much. We'll now move on. I think we have exhausted this discussion, but as Senator Sinclair said, Ms. Lyle, when you come here, you're combating on a wicket of persons who have an interest and a passion to serve their community and to serve it well. So you will get this type of discourse. Thank you very much. Report of the police.
I haven't received any report from the police, Mr. Chairman.
You haven't received any report? I understand that you're going to rise concern. Police.
Mr. Chairman. Police is not here because I suspect the police have to be out there. And I've seen them out there, especially with the back to school, the traffic, because I've been pleasantly surprised with the traffic.
Yep.
When you get onto Alice Eldemire, it is moving right along Howard Cook, and so you see the police out there in the mornings doing what they are expected to do. And with the state of emergency and their activities have been holding down the murder. Because again, I know you get updated figures, but I was just doing a quick thing in my mind and say we are probably saved compared to last year. Somewhere in the, we are above 100 now.
150.
150
yeah.
Persons less killed in St. James at today's date. So I think that is highly commendable of the police. The state of emergency has been going on since January in St. James. And obviously, as everybody has said, including sustainability of the reduced rate of major crime in the parish of St. James. And sometimes certain things may happen in the whole operations of police out there and engagement. And it is said police are given firearms for the defense of themselves, defense of the citizen, anybody else who may be under threat. Sometimes some things do happen. And from recent reports, some things have happened in Irwin. But there is Indicom, so if Indicom have to investigate, Indicom investigates and let the chips fall where they need, coming out of the investigation. But what I saw happen around at Irwin the other day is something that none of us inside here must condone. None of us mustn't condone. And I heard certain things that I think probably may have been a little fun persons were playing, but so I won't make much comment of that. But we must always continue to give our uncommitted support, genuine support, and don't play hypocrisy with this thing of crime, violence in the parish of St. James. Mr. Chairman, there is a flare-up in Granville, which is a continuation of what has been taking place in Granville for some time, and I'm certain Councillor Troop can better speak to it. And the police need to get a grip of it. And in fact, I've had some discussions with persons from different places who are asking about the effectiveness of in the circumstances, the effectiveness of the Granville police station, and probably you need to, as a chairman, have a dialogue with the divisional heads to see if there is anything that can be done, supported by us, in improving the situation around by the Granville police station, because I think that with the growth of things in that era, retirement and etc., where their boundaries fall, may need some bolstering with respect to human, physical infrastructure, motor vehicles, and so forth. But as I get back to the point, and social media is a place that we get a lot of information. And Mr. Chairman, I saw something on social media which gave me a little concern. And as I said, there should be no hypocrisy and no counsellor. You must always be careful that you don't find yourself compromised. Because they say, I have a popular saying, you know, that you lie with dogs and you rise with fleas. You never mean to attract the fleas, but that's how it goes. That the fleas are attractive. And get a new. And Mr. Chairman, I saw this photograph, which is circulating. And I examined the photograph carefully. Mr. Chairman, the photograph as a representation of somebody with familiar features in this St. James Municipal Corporation. Photograph that is circulating on social media. And it is not that the person is handcuffed and being bound to be there. It does not appear. It seems to be what we call popularly in Jamaica, flossing. Man, a floss. You sit down with your party. And the identification of the persons who surround the councillor, or the person who has the appearances of a councillor in the St. James Municipal Corporation. When certain things were stated there, and I went and because I never believed it. I was shocked. I could not believe it. I have one copy. Couldn't believe it. But if you wish to have a look at it, you know, Mr. I can just send it up so you can have a look. Me, I want it, man. You are just Mr. Chairman, because of what I saw and I believe, I said, let me go and find out from persons who may be able to provide assistance. Because the incidents that are taking place in the Granville era is not no easy. People are dying, people are being shot, people house are burned down. In fact, a report that came out in the Gleaner on Monday, because there was a shooting incident on Gardens Crescent on Sunday night, said that if things are not brought under control, everybody up there soon dead. A resident of Granville said that, and it was published in the Gleaner. So the situation is very drastic. And Mr. Chairman, the inquiries I made identified one of the persons as being a relative of what was also in the Gleaner last week, of somebody who is a significant person of interest in the Granville area, and is contributing, that person, not the person in the picture, they say, the relative is contributing significantly to what is taking place up here now. There's another person who is in the photograph who transitioned. And if you listen to what the people up in Granville are telling me, that the transition of this person is part of what is taking place currently up there in dead. That is migrate. Transition meaning say move from this life into another life. But him dead. And his death is caused because him caused somebody else's death. And that is what is happening up there now. I'm not talking something of the past, you know.
And you're saying that to say that.
That person is in that photograph, standing up to the left. Person who appears with features similar to somebody inside here. And the other person who is in the photograph, Mr. Chairman, the SOE, state of emergency, don't detain people for any length of time. People get take up, process, release. That man was detained for an extended period of time, based on my inquiries. I hear that is almost 140 days worth of detention to try and bring things under control, which is happening up here. And BAPS release, and we're going back into what is taking place currently. That an entire battalion of soldiers had to be up there this week. And persons have been detained. And from my information, that person has been detained again. No, Mr. Chairman, I don't like hypocrisy. People say sometimes, boy, say when I talk, they say me abrasive, and I am this and I am that. But one thing you're not getting from me is hypocrisy. You know? You're not getting that from me. You're not talking through two sides of my mouth. It may come out abrasive sometimes. They may say, boy, you're not diplomatic, and you're not this and you're not that. But you're not, what you get is what? What you see is what you get. And Mr. Chairman, it leads me to some discomfort. And I'm asking, and you know what makes the photograph even worse? Because the person, as I said, is deceased. One of them is deceased. That means that the picture took a little time ago. And I don't know if that is going to be thrown out as any form of defense. But let us accept that as an argument. The person in the photograph is standing with a bottle of JB rum. So if he's underage, something is wrong. Because if the features of the person who appears to be somebody inside here is correct, then why wasn't the discussion saying to that person, I said up on the wrong road, you're underage, you can't take no photograph with me with rum bottle in your hand and rum cup in your hand. It is not sending the right signal. And I'm being very cautious. You have the photograph, so you have a better sight of it. It can be circulated to see if everybody have the similar view of it that I have. I may have the wrong view. But I would ask that if we're going to be genuine and honest with ourselves and with our partners, the Jamaica Constabulary Force and the Jamaica Defense Force, whose representatives are putting themselves out there on the line every day to get a control of what took place in St. James last year and other years. If you follow the trajectory from 2012 with the increases, let us put aside the hypocrisy. And if anybody wants to comment on the photograph and the situation, so be it. But I do not like it. And I'm saying to the person openly that check yourself before you wreck yourself. And I would want, if he has anything to say in his defense, that he says it. Because, as I said, the discomfort that I feel here today and speaking with somebody who is from the community, who gave me other information, which I'm not going to say, prejudice nobody. But it was real damning information in relation to who is in that photograph. And it's not the person who's sitting in here. Because they gave me the life history of that individual. As I said, it's not, they were referring to the person inside here. But well, and from that time, he has been on a particular trajectory that you wouldn't be surprised that he's where he is today. So that is as far as I'll say. But I think that the or the person who may be in a picture or whose features, him can say it's not him, so be it. But if it is him, you don't want to say anything, as I said, check yourself before you wreck yourself. If it is him, then I would expect to have a response so that we can, what is of great concern to me, and I'm certain to. Thank you.
I don't know. I mean,
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, picture is Michael Truman True. It was taken 2.5 years ago when I was campaigning. That's my picture. But the person around me, if you ask me to show you, identify one now, I couldn't do that. But that picture was taken 2.5 years ago when I was campaigning for the local government election. That's all I got to say. And when you're campaigning, people come out, you don't even know them. 2.5 years ago. 2.5 years ago.
thank you. I have had a look at that picture. And I have no reason to doubt what my colleague, Councillor Sinclair, is saying. And I have no reason to doubt the explanation given by Councillor Troop, who admit that that person in the picture is Michael Truman Troop. You know, but, and it we can look at it and we can learn from it. There's a saying that a picture says 1,000 words. And as representatives, we must be careful of how and who we really take pictures with. Because looking at that picture and hearing the antecedent of those persons in that picture sitting with an elected official, it sends the wrong signal. I wanted to appreciate that, Councillor Troop. So whether or not it was during an election campaigning, and I'll take your word for that, it makes, and I'm sure that it has now becomes even more public knowledge, because the media is here, and I'm sure that it will go viral after this sitting. Well, I have always said that social media is not mainstream media. And when it comes on mainstream media, people will believe 90% of it, or even 100%. People might think that social media is trying to, but when it comes into mainstream media, but it's a sad day for that picture to be shown and shown with one of us. And I cannot say that you're not a part of us. You're a part of us. This council has been just one. Okay.
We ask that we suspend the normal standing order to facilitate the remaining items.
Can I have a second now? All in favor? Just allow me to continue, please. I've said it in my opening remarks, and I will say it again. And I will even go further. When I took leadership of this municipality, I commit to myself and the political directorate and the administrative staff that I am prepared to, under my leadership, to raise the bar in this municipal corporation. And I have seen councillors sometimes behave in a way in which it makes all of us look and feel bad. And I would say again, we must measure all our moves. We must measure all our words. Because it's not like 20 years ago. Everything is now recorded. As you're going anywhere, unknowing to you, people turn on their phone, people taking pictures, people recording what you are saying. Sometimes you're going anywhere, please use a little prepared text or speech. We sometimes get very upbeat and emotional, and sometimes we just need to say one word that can be misconstrued to mean something else, and that is what is used to rip us apart. So I say to all 17 of us, let us be careful of what we do, what we say, and who we associate with. Because I'm sure that we don't hear the end of that picture as yet. I'm sure we don't hear the end of it as yet, Councillor Troop. And that is the end of my argument. But let me use this opportunity also to extend great support and appreciation to our security forces in the parish. Councillor Sinclair has mentioned a number of what they are doing and a number of the things that I have been saying and I would have said. But suffice it to say, I will still ask the 17 of us as the local political leaders to give to our security forces our fullest support. Because I'm sure that what we are all seeking to do, and I heard Councillor Troop whilst on my way from Kingston, and probably it's against that background why Councillor Sinclair spoke, because you were making an appeal that I have been making. Let us not shield those who are problems amongst, whether they are brothers, sisters, because they will come at you at some point. And when we decide to, when we say that, we don't mean them any harm. We just need the police to take action. Not necessarily for them to end up losing their lives. Because sometimes if we direct the police when they commit a misdemeanor, then they wouldn't go on to commit multiple felonies. And this is what I meant when I said, let us cooperate. Don't allow the tree to become taller than the forest. Let us nip the tree from it is a plant before it grows into a tree. So once again, my commendation to the police. I know they are working very hard. I know they have been pinned down in Granville, and hope that when they pull stump, they might be able to recover and apprehend some of the persons and the equipment that is creating the problem in Granville. And Granville is very dear to me. I have been associated with Granville even before Councillor Troop. He just come there about 5 years after me. But Guns Drive and Cunningham's Drive and Gardens Crescent and Granville Drive and Gut Bottom and Fuller, I used to go through all of those places. I still even have some friends up there who call me. They realize that Senator Sinclair have some now who is calling him and telling him what is happening. So once again, gentlemen, you know, let us not destroy ourselves in the exuberance of power, because we have a life after this. Thank you very much. I think I would close. Councillor Troop. I would close. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Dove, I think you are here from the PDC, and I'm sure you will take us through a very concise report. And not
Good
an extensive
morning, Your
one.
Worship, councillors, the media, visitors in the gallery. Just to give you a brief update on the PDC report. First of all, I would like to say that finally we have brought our tax obligations up to date. We have now received a letter from the Companies Office of Jamaica, a letter of good standing that taxes and everything has been paid up. This is going back to 2004. So that was one of the main mandates of the board, to have this matter resolved. and everything now is up to date. Just to report on the Mount Salem, to give an update, the total expenditure that's projected for the Mount Salem area under ZOZO is $26 million. That's quite a lot of money that the government is, through the various agencies, will be spending. They are working now on replacing the zinc with blocks to allow the police to be able to move better through that area. And the operation will remove 1,149 meters, we'll be putting in 1,149 meters of wall in the community, replacing the zinc.
1,000 how much? 1,000?
1,149 meters of wall will be put in.
Like a lot of buses.
And they have started the process already. I'll just give you a quick update.
Give it to us in feet, please.
For Caton Lane, they have completed that, and they 100% complete, and 13 walls were done in that street. For Clark Street, it's 85% completed, and 10 walls have been done to date. For Campbell's Lane, it's 95% complete, and 14 walls have been done. For Coffee Lane, 94% complete with 8 walls. Also for Coconut Palm, 70% complete, 8 walls. For Richardson Crescent, 60% complete, 12 walls. For Pigot Street, 80%, 12 walls. For Crawford Street, 20%, 16 walls completed. And for O'Connor Lane, 10% complete with 6 walls so far. For Peddlers Lane, 10% complete with 14 walls. In terms of pipe water, that is being run through the area so that the citizens will be getting water supply. It's 90% completed.
What is the piped water?
Yes, because the person didn't have on the Comfort land, which was a captured land. So that area is going to be regularized. You have 95 citizens, household on that land. And when everything is completed, then they'll get their titles. Mr. Carjart had already agreed, the land belonged to him, to sign over all of that land to the NLA for them to do the title. But before that, we had to put in the amenities and the proper infrastructure, right? And the gully, they're working on the gully for Pigot Street and for Crawford Street, and that's 80% complete.
As you're on that gully, madam, are you doing an educational program, sensitization program for them not to dispose of garbage, and the gully is not really a garbage receptacle, but it's for the stormwater? I think
no,
if that is not being done, I would suggest that, in short order, because with the hurricane season upon us, I don't want to see no fridges coming across the road on Irving Road and mattresses and stuff like that. All right?
Yes.
So my advice to you is that see if you can pull the citizens together. We're not all that bad. And I'm sure that they will understand the merits of not using the gully as a way in which to transport the garbage.
Certainly, sir. So that's the update, and the work continues there. For parental training, the last time I reported that we had planned training, that was actually done in 2 locations, one in the Cambridge area. We partnered with SDC for that. And the second one was done in Dumfries. We, both PDC and the Parenting Commission did the presentation at both, and we got a very good feedback. There are so many things that the youngsters who have children, they were just totally blind to the basic things that they needed to know as parents. So it was well received. And we had capacity building. Yes, Mr. Dumfries. Yes, that's good. We have the capacity building with the staff within the PDC just to help us to be better able to assist in the communities that we go. So we have Sonia Walters, who is doing a school safety program, warden program, where when she has another month or so to go. And basically it's coming through the Ministry of Education, where they will do monitor to make sure that the children are going out to school. So if they're absent for a couple of days, then a contact would be made, and then, you know, a visit to the home to find out what is happening. We have Winston Hines, who participated in the National Family Planning Board consultation, which was done at Hotel Grandiosa in August. And they were focused on looking at the HIV and the stigma attached to it and how we need to respond better in the communities for persons who have that problem. Also, we have the Office of the Prime Minister was down here in August, and they wanted us to give a feedback on the excellent framework in relation to the public sector transformation modernization program. This is where the government is pushing for better service for the citizens of the country, from all government agencies, ministries, and so on. So they had a framework. Okay, better service from all government agencies, all the ministries, the Office of the Prime Minister, they're the ones spearheading it. All right. So we also, the United Nations Development Fund, we were invited to a 2-day seminar. We looked at the disaster risk reduction and business continuity, especially in this period when you have hurricane and other disruption in the, you know, in the country that can cause, especially small business, to go under. How do we, as a parish development committee, would go and assist them? What are the things we would ask them to put in place if there are threats, so that they will be able to get their businesses up? Because, you know, the foundation lies on smaller businesses, and you have many of them that keeps the country going. So those are ones that we have to focus on, not only on the big businesses, so we can get them up and running quickly. So that information was conveyed to us. The Planning Institute also has been working on the population census, looking at the things that need to be in place based on the growing population. There was a consultation. They had hired Icon Institute Consulting Group to come and do a presentation. The PDC was part of that. We gave them some suggestions from the groups that we were formed there at the meeting as to how they, in terms of this Western region, some of the things that they need to include in that planning action plan. In terms of the community capacity building, we had some outreach program during the month of August, going into September, just to update on the Lethe school that I had reported on, which is now we have completely installed it, not us, working through one of our stakeholders, because the PDC doesn't have the funds, but we engage persons who are part of the stakeholder group. And one had taken on the project. They have fully installed now the fire system for the deaf. This was a specialized system that had to be brought in from overseas. So that has been installed now. And I spoke to the principal. She's very happy, because she said for years she was worried about something like a fire happening, and how would she get 42 kids who are deaf out, you know, out of the place. So that has been resolved. The stakeholder involved, they're planning to do another $200 expenditure just to upgrade the place a bit, putting in some more things for the kids there. So that is coming for the next month. In terms of the Montego Bay Learning Center in Catherine Hall, that project was being looked on because you have some children with challenges there, and some minor work was done. We have an invoice that was sent to a stakeholder for them to assist. It's for $100,000 worth of supplies and some other things that they need. So that will be tabled next week at that meeting that they're having, the stakeholders board meeting, to get approval for them to go ahead and assist in the Catherine Hall Center. In terms of the Adelphi, there was a report in the newspaper, the Observer of August 28th, where the chairman for the Adelphi DAC has now been elected as the chairman for Region 6 for one of the political parties. So this will be referred to the SDC Governance Committee, because based on the mandate of the PDC, if you go into representational politics, you cannot be in a senior positions within the PDC. Yes, the Observer of August 28th had him there taking over as chairman for Region 6, which is Hanover, Westmoreland, St. James.
So
No, I haven't gotten any resignation from him as the DAC chairman for Adelphi. So the matter will be referred to the SDC.
Does it speak to when someone who's the president of a CDC finds his or herself in a position, political aspiration, meaning someone
yes,
who is a divisional caretaker? How that addresses that?
Yes, the report, the document that SCC had discussed with me says that once a person gets involved in the politics of the country, they cannot hold a position like CDC chair, DAC chair, because it can color how they go out to assist the communities, and it has to be impartial.
All right, good.
All right, the final thing is that we wanted to do a back to school program, but because we're just 3 persons in the CDC, what we did was to partner with the Universal Church, and we made 2 visits to Catherine Hall. That was where we selected based on the demographics when we looked at it and see there are a lot of children in that area. So we actually made 2 visits, because the first visit, the things went pretty quickly. So we promised those who didn't get that would go back. So we went the 1st of September and the 8th of September. And the giveaway, because it's over 3,000 persons in that community, and 47% of the population is between age 0 to 24. So population. So that was why we had to go back a second time. The reception was very good. And I attached some pictures to the report of some of the things that we did, ice cream, pops, and books, and so on.
Thank you very much, Dr. Love. You have always given us an extensive report, and it is indeed a breath of fresh air. And that is why, earlier in my commentary, I saw you on Councillor Troop. I said that sometimes we have to change course. Thank you. Councillor Troop, your hands up.
Thank you. This is a very interesting report from the doctor. But there are questions about that. I keep hearing saying, we. Are you physically involved in the implementation of the zinc fence, or can you keep on saying we? Or I think you should say us. I just want to know what your role in the implementation of all of your reports.
Well, I said we because the CDC, the Mount Salem CDC, was given that mandate, so that it's not appear to be political. I do get reported sent through either email or WhatsApp to me as to what is happening, so an update is given. So we represent PDC and the structure within PDC, which is the CDC.
And Councillor, for information, the PDC is a structure in local government. It is recognized in the local government. So, Dr. Dove here represents, local government. And, what she's doing and what she's reporting to us here is very enlightening and very informative. as to us as councillors. Councillor Brown, I think I saw that.
Thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon. It would be remiss of me, Chairman, not to congratulate Dr. Dove and the body or bodies that she represents here. You always furnish us with a very detailed and very pointed report, and it's a breath of fresh air in the council to have some detail oriented. And also the transformational work that is being done in Salem. It would be remiss of me if I did not publicly, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all of my fellow councillors, that the work you're doing.
Those on your left also.
And the staff on the left also, the work that you're doing in Salem is first class work, and you must be Mount Salem. You must be congratulated for it, and you must be recognized for it. And it would also be remiss of it, because I'm sure that you work in close tandem with the Member of Parliament for that area.
And the council.
And the council. And I have to congratulate the council, because I see the council checking the
work quality.
The quality of the work that the MP and the zone of special operations. So it's a very extemporary organization. But what I'm saying is, it's excellent work. And in fact, I am almost jealous, Chairman. Why? I wonder if I could get a zone of special operation as well.
Yeah.
Because the diametric shift that you're making, it will echo from time immemorial. Congrats.
Good. Thank you very much for that.
Sorry.
Local
Thank you.
sustainable
I'll
development. Mr. Mannings, what do you have to say on that matter?
Yes. Afternoon, Chairman and fellow council. Chairman, I want to inform the council that NEPA and the municipal corporation are continuously carrying out the review of the development order for the parish of St. James. The team from NEPA attended our last sitting of the planning committee meeting, where we went through various aspects of the development order, and the councils got a chance to give their input and how we are improving and modifying different areas within the parish for the further development of St. James. And that process continues, Chairman. All our comments were noted, and the NEPA team took it back so that they can improve upon it and then give us their response. Under the IDB program, the ESCI program, the study, and based on the various resolutions passed by council, it was saw fit for the study of the North Gully, which is on the way. Councillor Vernon has been very active with the consultants. He took them through the various aspects of the division as well to show them the drain from the lower section all the way to the top, and they have prepared their draft preliminary report and sent it off to the IDB, and we are in continuous dialogue with them on that. We should get a copy of that preliminary report shortly, Chairman, so that all the councils can be abreast of what they found and some of the preliminary recommendations they are making. Next, Chairman, we are finalizing the budget for our local sustainable development plan as mandated in the Local Governance Act as part of our requirement to do. And this also, and the disaster budget for a disaster plan and mitigation plan for Montego Bay. And Ms. Sinclair is working assiduously on that with the chairman. We had a meeting with the chairman of the disaster committee, Mr. Grant, and myself. We went through the preliminaries of it so that we can, I think more will be discussed at the sitting of the disaster committee next week, so that we can know how, and based on the time that we are in, Chairman, it is becoming even more necessary for us to conclude that plan as well. So that is it for now, Chair.
Okay. One question, Mr. Mannings. Will there be a closure as it relates to signing off to say these are the things that we will allow, like for example, is there a document we must anticipate getting from NEPA that is in sync with the St. James Municipal Corporation as the um, um, local authority that deals with development?
Yes, Chairman, the draft order is there once there is the committee, the legal council of government too, that has to finally review the order before it is promulgated. But what they'll do, the document, the draft order will be sent to us. There is still the preliminary order that is out. We have a CD as well, but that once they have taken and updated the order with the comments that were given and the maps, they brought a preliminary zoning map that we also went through in the planning committee meeting, and those will be for us to give our final say on it before it becomes the law.
Okay, because my reason for is that I've seen and heard of many developmental orders for Montego Bay, but I don't know if they are being observed in the way in which they were looked at. And as a result of that, I think we're still struggling because I've seen some development that has taken place in Montego Bay, and some of these developments are creating undue hardship, especially when it rains. And I speak to that whole Fairview complex. There's also a new development now taking place out at Bogue. I notice an excavator out there doing some work out there, rechanneling a river. That is how I know it. Into the drain that was built to take off the storm water from Bogue Village. I don't know if I am not an engineer, I'm not a technical person, but I don't know if what is being done is sustainable. So, and this is why I spoke to the superintendent and I asked him to go out there, have a look at it. If needs be, bring NEPA into the picture, because we can't afford to have development in that area. And when it rains, the traffic that going west or coming east will have to sit out in that area for hours for that water to drain off. Because I know that quite a bit of compaction is now taking place out there. And as a result of that, it will restrict the perforation of what used to take place there. And I don't see anything look like any underground drainage taking place there. So I would ask that we have a look at it. I would ask that we ask NEPA to have a look at it and to give us something in writing. So when the problem starts, we can say, yes, we have raised the issue. NEPA has given us this certificate of goodwill, and the municipal corporation cannot be blamed. Okay, Mr. Mannix? Yes, sir. And I expect to see something in this meeting at our next council meeting. Right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm Councillor Magia.
While I am 100% behind all the things that I find missing, is the involvement of the local populace. I've had an issue in front of the council now, Mr. Chairman, for nearly a year. Civic numbering on Gloucester Avenue, which we are about to call Jimmy Cliff Boulevard.
No,
1
not
year.
about. It is.
Yes, but even so, Mr. Chairman, 1 year I've been asking for the numbering of the street. It is affecting people's businesses in terms of how they go about and plan and market. Right? So when we go to these persons and we tell them about sustainable development and all this grand plan, if we can't handle little low-hanging fruit, the simple things, how can we engage them into the bigger picture? It's an issue, Mr. Chairman, that needs to be addressed. It has been 1 year now, and we have not been able to communicate to these people and said, we are 40% complete on getting your civic numbering or something. We have to handle. We have to treat the local populace with some form of not servitude, but let them feel engaged that we're working for them.
Well, Councillor, small project, very small project.
1 year.
And I think we can use those small projects as an example of what we can achieve with bigger projects. And I think that, yes, you have been at it for quite some time. I don't know what are the challenges that exist. I don't know if Mr. Mannings could enlighten us on what needs to be done or what needs not to be done.
All right, Chair, just in a quick thing as informing Zamagande, he has, as he said, on this matter for a long time, and I've been discussions with him. The key issue with that one, Chairman, we have been conducting extensive research to find out if there has been, we haven't found in our office, and we tried at the archives in Kingston and the Jamaica Printry to find out if there has been any gazette or official numbering that have been done prior. So before we can go ahead and issue new, when there hasn't been any, it's easier. But for established road as Gloucester Avenue that has been in existence for a long time, we really had to do an extensive research first before we can go ahead. And yes, so the other thing now, Chair, that we would have to do is to have a meeting with the owners along Gloucester Avenue to see what they have, because persons have been using civic addresses already. So we have to be careful because it affects persons' business to what before we can.
Well, let us, have you seek to convene a meeting with them?
No, not as yet, Chair. So that's what
I think that should be the first order of business, because they might have information that you're seeking. They just need it to be properly structured. But they might have all the information that you are seeking, because most of these properties that are out there, or most of these name properties, has been there for a long time. So I don't think that should be too difficult. So I think, these are some of the little things that, probably should deal with. All right, please. Yes, Councillor Thomas, I realize that you have waked up from your slumber.
Mr. Chairman, this topic of sustainable development, right? And when I listen to the different eras we right, and we can go back as far back as last November when Montego Bay was flooded, right? And we can look at all the developments now that are taking place in and around St. James. And I hear you talking about the drain, and I heard you get a little technical about perforation and compaction so the water won't filter in the land so you'll have more running off, right? But I say this because we're still waiting on the NWA report as to what happened last November. But at the same time, Mr. Chairman, I think as a corporation, and I've mentioned this before, we need to really look at the entire drainage of St. James. And I can look at Friendship Development, and we can look at the Tucker Main Road. While we announce the 77 million, which will not be adequate to repair that road, if there is not a plan to look at the drainage along that road, because I can tell you, once it's rained at least 3 locations are automatic block when the gully come down. So you can repair the road without a plan of the drainage. And with Friendship taking place, with the very factors that you mentioned earlier, you will have more runoff coming down. And we are not at that stage yet. And we can look at all the other development that are taking place. You see along the road down here in Reading, and you see all these taking place. We are still to develop a proper sustainable drainage plan for St. James. Because once we want to do and we approve developments in isolation without looking at the impact it is having on the existing infrastructure, it is going to hurt us down the road. It is hurting us with traffic now, Mr. Chairman. Because when I heard at a community meeting on Sunday, and then I experienced it by going and see for myself the level of traffic that is backing up into even Irwin and other places, and I can say the entire city can look at it and realize that whether it is the drainage or our traffic plan and our traffic mitigation plan, which is not in place, we are going to stifle as we grow. So while we boast that St. James is a moving city, we need to look at a sustainable plan as to how...
But let me stop you there.
No, Mr. Chairman.
You're not saying that, hold on. No. No. Don't go there. Don't go there, because what has been announced by the Minister of National Security recently at a town hall meeting, who is a significant member of parliament and a significant member of the cabinet, right? There's some $358 million to be spent on infrastructure development, to include roads. And they said that there's a MOU now with China Harbor Limited, or China Harbor Construction Company, to look at all the drains in St. James. So you can't say that nothing is being done. And I'm sure that, and Stanley Consultant has done something some time ago, but the government intends to move, because Montego Bay is a very critical part of Jamaica as it relates to its future development or its continued development. So the bypass, and I will send you a copy that you can peruse, because I know your technical competence, right? But it's not that you must not, I just stop you because I don't want you to make it look as if nothing is being done, right? I don't want you to make it look like that, right? Because Tucker will be given some attention. I would say that the first phase is to deal with from Tucker up to Friendship. And I'm not sure that you would have wanted the work to be done now whilst they are cutting the road to lay the pipes. So, you have to give it work bit by bit. Everything can't be at one time. I'm sure that there is, and Councillor Kerry, and I'm going to address you in your professional capacity as an engineer, is that a lot of the problems, is caused by improper engineering, and developers doing the things that are not recommended, Because you have a problem in your division, When you turn off Tucker Road to go up into Irwin, where the developer should have done certain things. And as a result of that, it creates major damage. And Superintendent, don't we have done an estimate to start some work there soon? You have started it. So there is something being done about it, Councillor Kerry Thomas. So don't make it appear as if, nothing is being done. St. James is on the thrust of major infrastructure development. And it is as a result of some of the same thing that you have pointed out. There's an expansion in residential areas. There's an expansion in the population. And I'm sure that we won't be left behind. So, you know, I just put that, I just stop you in your tracks on that one, yeah.
And I fully acknowledge.
And I thought you would have endorsed what is happening in Mount Salem. You have done it over and over. Do it today.
Listen to some of the presentation
Yes.
of the Honorable Minister, right? And I am proud to know that the
Yes.
plans for the infrastructure regarding roads and so is very good
Yes.
for the church. But Mr. Chairman, you made mention, especially a short while ago, of development. By the way, which is not in my division, but I will address it. Improper engineering, Mr. Chairman, is indeed correct. But at the same time, Mr. Chairman, my position comes from the backdrop that this municipal corporation and us councillors, at the end of it, when improper engineering or improper development takes place, whether I am here or whomever after us will have to deal with
I agree with you.
consequences of those improper engineering.
I
So
agree
my
with you.
position is simple, saying, Mr. Chairman, from here, in all of these developments, and I'm glad to hear about the drainage study, and I'm going to hear about it, the need infrastructure to match the development that we are having.
I agree.
Because at the end of the day, this corporation has a responsibility in it. And with the development, you should ask, did these people get approval for selling houses to residents? If the question is yes, who did the inspection? Under what was the conditions they used that satisfied that the infrastructure and the plans that was in place were adequate to hand over titles or allow these people to sell it to residents? There are questions to ask. So we back to sustainable on a global basis. We need a sustainable plan in St. James. Yes, the roads are coming in. Yes, the roads will address the bypass and infrastructure, but we still need to look at the communities,
Yes.
and corporation has to lead that charge, Mr. Chairman.
I agree with some of the points, but you know, I hate to look in review mirrors, especially when it comes to governance. And we have some situations here in St. James that, you know, if we should say when certain things happen, you know, but I don't want to go there, right? But let us, as a municipality, and I like your interest, because there's no doubt that sustainable development is what it is and is what it ought to be for townships, cities, areas. So you are here now, and I expect you to be here for at least another 2 years. So
Only two.
So when applications come for certificate of compliance, I want you to take an integral look, right? I want you to take an integral look, right? And make your contribution. Because to be honest with you, when I became aware of what certificate of compliance was all about, so the superintendent there, Senator Sinclair there, is something that I've been looking at from all angles, right? And as what has been announced recently by our Prime Minister, it's all over the place, where there are a number of government housing schemes that weren't taken over by the municipal corporation. The government is now looking at some 100 housing schemes that were built in the first 10 years of the inception of National Housing Trust. So those houses that built between 1978 and 1980, and 1980 and 1988, right? All those housing schemes will be given special attention in terms of their infrastructure. And some $4 billion will be spent. And I know that St. James will get some of those, but they're dealing with two schemes in each parish. And they are even prepared to look at other government development housing settlements that needs attention, because there's no doubt that The superintendent will tell you that quite a number of these housing schemes, when he looked on his record, they were taken over by the municipal corporation. So the prime minister and government sees it in their wisdom and have made that announcement in this last budget. And it is being acted upon now as we speak. So that will bring back some level of sustainability because it is to deal with road, drains, community space. Because that's a part of community sustainability. So things like those, we are not, our minds is fixed on doing what benefits the people. All right? Thank you. ALGA report, first VP. VP ALGA report.
The report was circulated.
And it was read. And is there any comment?
No, not this time, sir.
Just that I've seen already my colleague Mayor of Sablamar. They are on the front page here taking pictures with the Minister of Local Government, but appearing today in our daily newspaper, Negril is in shambles as it relates to, proper order. But that is in their jurisdiction. LPAC, any report on that, Madam CEO?
No report, Mr. Mayor, as the last meeting that was in June, that one fell through. The next scheduled meeting is the 18th. That's next week, Thursday.
Okay.
So we should have a report out of that.
Committee members, can you make yourself available for this meeting, please? Reports from the fire department. Mr. Doman, you're here. I know you have circulated is there any special area that you need to bring us up to date on? I know your report has always been pretty extensive.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, councillors, members of the Municipal Corporation, other visitors, members of the media. Good afternoon to you all. Mr. Chairman, I have to report that at present we are worse off than we were at our last meeting in terms of our units. Unfortunately, we lost one which was seriously damaged in a major accident last month. So that one is out of use at present, in addition to others which are done for repairs. As I speak, the Iron Shore station is without a unit because we had to lend one to Trelawney, which which does not have a working unit of their own at present. So that in terms of our units and our capability to respond, that's what we are like at present, sir.
So how many units you have that can?
At present, 2, sir.
So if one is in Janzal and one is out in Rosal and my house catch a fire again, a problem?
Well, that would be a challenge, sir.
Jesus.
That
So
would be a challenge.
what can we do for you? Any of them need battery?
No, sir.
How could buy the
Other
battery?
technical problems.
Them need tires?
Not that. Technical problems.
Technical
issues.
problems.
Yes, sir.
What can we do to help you?
Um,
Council has a serious problem.
Well, we could look and see one of the issues we are having sometimes.
Because looking in here, there are a lot of properties that are not compliant.
It is.
And it tells me if they are not compliant, they are a fire risk.
Yes, sir.
Eh?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, to have a parish like St. James with 2, in my opinion, it is unacceptable. And
It's a
if
serious
there's
issue.
thing that can be done,
Yes,
Eh?
we can look at what can be done.
I am prepared to make a call
Yes, sir.
to the relevant person to make another fire truck available for Montego Bay. We can't have a city. We can't have a city of 110,000 people. And at any given day, we have 20,000 guests. And over 25,000 hotel rooms with only 2 fire trucks to serve distance as far as 25 miles away. I think it is unacceptable, and the relevant authority should see to it that we get back our truck from Trelawney and they find a truck to fit in Trelawney. I don't think St. James can operate on 2 fire trucks only. Because I give you an example a while ago.
Yes, sir.
A fire is at the top of Union Street, where 1 unit can't manage it. You have to send for another unit. But yet still, another one is out in some other place. Let me not call anywhere. How you manage?
It's a challenge, sir. It's a challenge.
Huh? How do you
It's a challenge,
manage?
sir.
Councillors, it is a serious situation. And it is a situation that must really affect us. So we need one more, in my opinion, would be woefully inadequate. But we need at least 5 fire trucks for this parish to deal with the response. Because when I look at your page here and look at the amount of fire that you have responded to, and these are genuine fires.
They are, sir.
And I'm sure that you get quite a number of calls which are not genuine.
Sorry, sir.
God bless the rain that is falling. We have less bushfire that threaten lives and property. So my take on the matter, Mr. Doman, I don't think you need to continue with your report because I might have to say other things. But what is happening, Mr. Councillors and members, is that what is happening, we cannot have 2 fire trucks operating in St. James. It is unacceptable. It is dangerous. It is dangerous. So I am appealing to the relevant authority to make 1 or 2 more fire units available to us here in St. James. Thank you. Is there any question to Mr.?
We are going to see more effect. We don't get any more fire trucks, Mr. Chairman. NEPA was here last week at our physical planning meeting to let us know that the St. James town is running out of space and we are going to see more high-rise building. Now, as we speak, if we should have a fire on this road floor, there's no rescue for us.
Why you jump through the window?
Well, remember in September 11, in the World Trade Center, jumping through the window wouldn't be a good idea. So, never help at all.
That was all Junard.
So,
This is on the floor.
This is a well serious matter.
No, I agree. I'm concurring. Not because I'm, interjecting, but, it is a serious matter. And it's a matter that, Mr. Doman, I will make the call. It cannot continue like this, Mr. Doman. 2 fire trucks, unacceptable for the parish of St. James, when taken into consideration that all schools are now in session. All schools are now in session. So it means that, it can make our lives much more difficult as a city. Thank you. Local government reform.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just to inform the committee that there's a working group at the Ministry of Local Government that includes officers from the Ministry of Local Government and CEOs, and they are working on the draft for the regulations for the Local Government Act. So that is work in progress. Gold Governance Act. Thank you for the correction. In addition to that, I need to update on the local economic development program for the parish of St. James. Last report was that we had 101 persons who benefited from the program. To date, we have 157 persons who have benefited from the program, and the amount spent to date is $2,163,502 under that program. We have additional money to be spent, and we still have some divisions where we have not the program has not started yet. Hopefully we'll start this for just a few, just 2 divisions.
Can we get a report? I mean, which division it is?
I only have the names of the councils. I'm not sure the division, and that is Montego Bay Southeast and Councillor Wynn. Yes.
All right, councillors, please. Councillors, this is a program that we have fought for. And it's a program that I think, please, it's a program that can be very useful to our constituents, especially those who are on the margin, those who we want to help, to see if we can get them to at least stand up somewhat. So I would suggest that we do what we need to do, make the recommendation, and allow the benefit to flow in your respective division. Buildings within the city. No. All right. Councillors. We have a challenge. And I've seen these buildings within the cities, and these are buildings that are literally, some of them you would call them derelict. In other words, they are just unsightly. Some of them is literally falling apart. And we will have these matters in courts for months and sometimes years, and we can't get the matter resolved. I am not a legal person, so I am prepared to ask my CEO, or through the Ministry of Local Government, to ask the Attorney General to give us an interpretation and a guide how we can go about in demolishing some of these buildings, and after we demolish them, we'll lodge a caveat on those properties for the money that is expended. Because it is a big problem. You have these buildings all over the place. And I'm even looking a little further. When you travel through the city, you have some buildings that are very unsightly, but yet still business is taking place in them. Shouldn't we, as a local authority, able to go in and say, listen, we need for you to get these buildings clean up, have these buildings painted? to fit the overall aesthetic of the place. We need some advice on this matter. If not, we need something. We need to think about some regulation, something, how we can get this done. Because a lot of what is in Montego Bay, a lot of the buildings, they are very unsightly. Down St. James Street, if you want to see how them look, just walk up St. James Street on a Sunday and look at some of the buildings. And I was using as an example, up where Pablo is now, right at the bridge there. Look how unsightly that place used to look. And just a coat of paint, and the place looked like it's last week it built. So sometimes most of these buildings just need some paint on them. Them just dirty. And I think that our business operators need to take some pride in where they operate from. There's a building in Sam Sharp Square. Samana, what the name of it? When you look at it, it just looks like it's not belonging there. That building needs to spruce up. It needs to look good. And I don't know if the PDC, through their own intervention, can speak to some of these people. It can't be just you making money. You have a responsibility to your city to at least keep your building clean. I remember once a Chamber of Commerce had started on something, and I don't know how far it reached, but some of these buildings are very, very unsightly. And I am saying to business operators and owners of building, spruce up the place, make the place look nice. A coat of paint can, make a world of a difference. So I would say we're going to be looking at this matter, and we're going to ask the AG how she can guide us as to some of these derelict buildings. I'm not talking about those buildings now that they are defaced by old paints and stuff like that, but business is operating there. But just looking at them, then just look inside. I am thinking that the PDC could probably look at it as a project to speak to some of these people. It is a concern. Thank you. Water shortage in several areas of St. James. I think we're getting more rain now than before.
Mr. Chairman. This water issue.
Mr. Chairman,
I will allow you.
All right. We have some allocation for some divisions, and we have some for general allocation generally. However, Mr. Chairman, we have been having some difficulty in finding appropriate trucks that would meet our requirements. And not only our requirements, the Water Commission requirements, and also that is willing to work at reasonable, at the cost that we think that is fair and reasonable. However, there might be a couple that is available and they don't have the sanitation certificate. So we're trying to work with them to get those in place so that we can get to distribute the well-needed resources to some people who are in desperate situation at this time.
All right.
First of all, I am asking this course to invite President of the Commission. Okay. President of the National Water Commission to come to Montego. Flower Hill, which is shared between myself and Councillor Sylvan Reed. They have not had water in their pipes for over 3 months. So I don't know, I wouldn't want to call it necessarily, they're having a shortage of water because Water Commission is not doing what it is to do, because it is not impossible for water to get to fluoride. It's not impossible because it has happened in the past, but over the last 3 months, they have had no water in the pipe. But the water is reaching to a particular area along the hill, and that's it. So water come, we have had dialogue, engaged local water commission people. We have been told that there are things that can be done in putting in valves so that they can even do alternate days lock off, so water can go to Flower Hill and then shared with the other communities, Salt Spring and so forth. If it means that they have to seek to put in an additional pump, whatever it is infrastructure-wise, then it needs to be done. But it has been a situation that is continuing. From I've been here, it has been having problems. So I am asking that the president of the Water Commission come down here and see what it is and let us move towards correcting the situation. The situation that the superintendent has raised, because we have been trying to find truck for transporting the water. My division has allocation for that, but we're having problems in finding the trucks with the requirements as required. And I'm going to bring the public health into this now, because there are people out there who are trucking water, delivering water to residents in the, wherever. But their truck is not sterilized. And the Water Commission should not be delivering water to these unsterilized trucks. So where is it? That
You know that as a fact that their truck is not sterilized.
Mr. Chairman, we have been asking the Water Commission to give a list of the trucks that have been sterilized.
Okay.
And it came up even in a meeting. I got a response from a senior, very senior person who is local, and he gave me a name of a person. When I checked with the person, he said, you know, his certificate expired, but he was going to get it done again. He has eventually gotten it done, and superintendent was put in contact with him for us to try and get the thing moving. But I can't seem to get this list. This Mr. Gale, who is our water person, has been trying to get the list and can't get it. But water is being delivered to some places across St. James by units. Are those units sterilized? Because Water Commission not giving us a list, not coming through the council, then how are these supplies being done? And water is an easy way for transmission of waterborne diseases. Am I correct, madam? So I suspect if the public health was doing their duty in respect to these and ensure that everybody have to be certified in that particular way, I don't think we'd have that problem. And if it is that there are movements of these large trucks now being laden with water, we at the council have to ensure that the trucks also have the proper certification from the motor vehicle examination depot. And that is a requirement for us in order to engage in. So is it that they are not also certified by the motor vehicle examination depot, but they are out there moving water, which is a heavy item when placed in that quantity in a truck. So again, probably the police is not doing their due diligence. But if everybody was doing their due diligence, we would ensure that you would have all these units that are properly certified, so we wouldn't have a difficulty. The issue, and I suppose now with the scarcity, for the fact that we now have to only use persons who are fit a particular criteria. Then they're going to turn around and say, well, you want to use my service, you're going to have to pay me premium sum because there's no competition, because I have the proper documentation. So there was a discussion up to yesterday with a particular sum which the SUP had objections to because of the dollar value to it. And we're trying to negotiate. I hope they work out the negotiation because 3 months without water can't be right. Yes,
Okay.
you have done that. So congratulations. Good. But 3 months, I need that situation to be remedied. And I'm asking that Mr. Barnett from the Water Commission, come and tell us what is the problem. Because I look at the local people, either not interested in dealing with it, and the people up there are experiencing hardship. There's a basic school that is up there. There's a farming factory that is up there that contributes to the economy of the area and so forth. And just the normal lives of people is being affected.
Councillor Morgan.
So, Chairman, this is also a very vexing issue for my division of South. Recently, the new management of NWC came here, and I'm supporting Councillor Sinclair's call for the president to be here. There was a planned outage in the Summertown division, the major water supply of Canaan. There was a planned outage for 1 month. 1 month. In terms of that, they were planning to upgrade the system and do the testing and whatever. And the goal of NWC to come to this chamber, Mr. Chairman, and tell and inform us that they are only supplying water to persons in this area that have an account. Not only that, even with supplying persons that only have an account, Mr. Chairman, they never had any trucks to deliver water to those persons. So for 1 month, Mr. Chairman, majority of my area never had water. And this led to persons having to utilize some of the services of the trucks that Councillor Senator is talking about. That is unacceptable, Mr. Chairman, and with Water Commission needs a good talking to a letter from this council stating our objection on how they handle the populace of Summertown. No water for 1 month. And even now, when they have done their testing and they have put in the same old pumps, there are still areas that are out and nothing is being done by them to ensure that these citizens are disenfranchised of such a valuable commodity. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm asking you to please, if we couldn't write a letter to Mr. Barnett and to get him here and to Water Commission and express our displeasure of the treatment of the persons of Summertown Division.
Okay. All right. Ms. Cunningham, can you seek to convey that letter? But, you know, there's no doubt that there's a problem with trucking of water. There's no doubt, because plenty of the trucks that is being used by private citizens are truck that is not certified, but the private citizens are prepared to buy a load of water and put in their tank. And a part of it also is that when I speak to some of these truckers, a number of them, if you want the water to go to a school, fine. Or a one location, fine. But they're a little bit reluctant in taking water into a community at 8 a.m. and at 12 midday, and still in that community delivering water. They don't think that it is profitable for them. So there are a number of factors why we are having a difficulty. If a private citizen run out of water and take up him phone and him call him waterman and if you don't get it this evening, go and get it tomorrow. And even if his truck is certified, they still don't want to go through that process. Somebody had suggested that we should invest in a water truck. I don't know if one water truck can help us in this parish. And St. James as a parish, we don't normally suffer from drought per se. What we suffer from is a lack of water pumping to residents. And if you notice the areas that there's a lack of water, is areas that NWC regard as non-revenue area. And councillors, it affects all of us, you know. So my advice is that if we can pull community, NWC does not distribute social water. So what we need to do, because we cannot pretend as if we don't know the problem. What we need to do is to pull our communities together, bring NWC people there and say, listen, we have 100 households in this community. They are prepared to be legally connected, and you give them the precious commodity. But to ask NWC, and this is why what Councillor Magan said is true, they will only supply water to their paying customers. They're not going to be supplying social water. We do it as a parish council, but NWC is not prepared to do it. They will give us the water, you know, but we will have to truck it. So that is a part of the problem that we're having. And this is where we need to engage our communities to sell that. Tell them straight. There's no free water. There's no free lunch. You have to pay for your water. So whether or not the fault is NWC for not engaging the people, right? Or for us not, but some people just believe that the water must be free. It can't be free. It cannot be free. And you can't have a community with 300 households and 10 people that pay a water bill. It can't work. It cannot work. So we as leaders have to take the bold step and say to the people and to listen. You have to play your part. Because if you don't play your part, then you won't get no water. Right? So we need to look at what we are advocating. Nothing is wrong. Water is life. People must get water. But Water Commission will tell you that to get the water there, it comes with a price. So this is why you see when pumps are down in certain areas, Councillor Magan, they don't have no interest. If you hear that the pump up a Brandon Hill is down, then probably come at Dumfries, come take your one and put up there. Because them have 70% of paying customer. Up there, them have 5%. So they will ask you to wait for a month. They will never dare ask the people about guys to wait for a month. Not even a day. So that is a part of the problem that we're having. And this is why we need to engage our community members to say, listen, there's no such thing as free water. If you want free water, you build tank and wait till God rainfall. But it can't go none way. All right?
I don't want to give the impression that the residents of Somerton Division.
No, I'm not specifying no year.
No, I'm just saying, Sir Chairman.
I'm not specifying no year.
I don't want that impression
Right.
to be entered that the residents of Somerton. That's not true. A lot of them are willing, Mr. Chairman, to go on the system. The problem is that a lot of these areas have not had water for decades, for years, and no substantial effort has been made by Water Commission to get these people regularized or to supply them with water. Mr. Chairman, I represent the people, citizens of Jamaica, particularly Summerton Division. And when people can look at me and tell me that they have never heard, Mr. Chairman, a hotel say that they're out of water.
No, but the hotel pay them bill.
Not only that, Mr. Chairman, not only
Hotel
that.
pay them bill.
Mr. Chairman, not only that. No, Mr. Chairman,
Councillor.
I'm from East Central, Mr. Chairman. I can tell you that the people in Ryan Park and the people up in Barton will tell you that they pay the bill also when the bill comes. But the water, Mr. Chairman, is being piped away to make sure that the hotels have regular supply. I bet it, Mr. Chairman.
That is a discussion that might belong to elsewhere. All I'm saying to you,
we must treat the
is
citizens
that,
of this country better.
No, but they can't, but councillor, you cannot advocate for freeness. You cannot get the water like that. Why not? Why not? Why not? No, I understand, you know, and I'm right before the camera, but let us face facts. Let us face the facts. We need to engage our citizens and tell them that they have a responsibility. When Water Commission don't deliver, it's another matter. But you can't ask the Water Commission, who operates a business, to send 2-3 truckloads of water into a community per week, and nobody is paying. They're not going to be doing it. But yet still you have citizens in that same area that can afford to buy a load of water every month. Right? So we need to change the discussion. We need to work with our community members and let them understand. Yes, we can send anyone 1 load or 2 load of water from the parish council sometime. Right? So I'm not, you know, there are some people who is down here. They might not can pay a water bill. Yes, we have a special place to advocate for those. But you can't speak about a big community who is not legally under the system. And this is what is going to happen. And it is going to get more and more every day. Councillor Thomas, come.
Mr. Chairman, I heard Senator and I heard Councillor Magian, right? And I think I will look them, not just from the trucking of water, but a lot of these, many of these developments, right? They do have a serious water problem. And the problem is that the water is not available in the pipe most of the time. And they only get limited supplies. I can go to a community in Irwin where they tell you they only get water between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m.
But them they dare not supply them. They dare not supply those people at least between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. because they are paying customers.
Yes, but Mr. Many paying customers don't pay.
For 3 months? Unless they are in an era where there's a low payment plan.
Mr. Chairman,
Probably I'm not here. Probably I'm not here.
As part of our sustainable development again, we need to look at the availability of water in the parish. Because we use some wells and we use Great River and some from Martin Grey. But as we keep adding more and more customers and adding these schemes, we need to look at the availability of water readily available to paying customers, because we have people out here not getting water now, plus we're trying to add more to it. It's a problem.
You are trying to put a spokes in development. But the last discussion that I had, at a very reasonable level, there's water to supply the projects that is now taking place. Right? Great River do have some problems sometimes. Martha Brae do have some problem, especially when it rains. Right? But what is happening, gentlemen, and don't let us run away from certain things. You have areas, Councillor Thomas, in my area, in your area, in every area that is we represent. That is just not paying a water bill. Don't make me hide away from it. Don't make me hide away from it, gentlemen. Yes. I'm not.
I am saying that they are not allowing water to get into the community. Water is not getting into the community because of things that are happening. Go down. Leaks that they have on the system, which they have started correct. And the when they are correcting it because water commission is not objecting. The person here to say water is not working because it's social water has been built very well. And I mean, you know how popular person is, so it's not employees, it's not that they don't pay the water bill.
No, I'm not
So
councillor.
I just want to make this, what I'm asking for is a senior person that is about it to come and.
Well, let us see if we can get him here at our next one. All right, so I think we have ventilated that problem. But there's no doubt that there's a problem with water in St. James. But there's no doubt also in my mind that as a people, we need to work together and we play our part and do what is right. Street lights within the parish. I know that is a major problem, Ms. Cunningham, and I would like for you to write to the Jamaica Public Service Company for us to have a meeting the 24th, and I would like to invite the councillors to be at that meeting because there seems to be a lot of problems with JPS as it relates to street lights. So the 24th, as soon as you confirm, as soon as that date is confirmed, Ms. Cunningham, just circulate it to all the councillors for me. Let us see if we can have a meeting with a very high profile team from JPS. Because there are some areas that, based on my understanding, is literally in the dark at nights, especially street lights. So let us see how we can convene that meeting so we can have a better understanding what is happening because we are now on resolution and we can just go through them. Resolution from St. James Parish Council. Superintendent, have you done this survey to provide cost to remove waste of deposit on roadway? Have you done that?
Yes, sir. An officer from the department did the survey, and we have a small cost in here.
How much is the small cost?
335,000.
You sure that is it?
That's what.
Can we now summon a meeting with the concrete mixer trucks?
We could, but just to state that one of the issue, Mr. Chairman, was that when they were going out alone, they did not find an unusually great amount of deposit.
I'll take you to Reading where there is an unusually great amount.
Yeah,
Because anything that disturb the surface of the road by an inch, as far as I'm concerned,
yes,
it is an unusual amount. You feel the bump when you hit it. Coming to the stoplight right at Westgate where you can make the right turn to go to Granville there are some deposits there all over the place. I'm not sure that.
No, I'm not.
What your man did? He rode a bicycle? If you rode a bicycle, I guess he would see. Or if you go on a bike. Or, yeah, the bike might move a little too fast. If you ride a bicycle, I'm sure. Please, arrange a meeting. Arrange a meeting and let us put it to them and then we can put a team with a jackhammer and let them go across the city and remove all of those deposits of concrete. Resolution, resale of community lands. How far are we with that, Ms. Cunningham?
Chairman, it is the matter is still at the stamp office. A meeting with them on Monday, Mr. Street. Spoke to the manager of the department. There's some discussions with regards to costing for transfer tax and stamp duty. So they would have to, in terms of charging for where it's community lands, as was raised by concerned personnel. I raised that matter with them.
We can't get it waived.
That's why they said they would have to review the regulation.
I remember, so that can be waived. I don't know.
Having a meeting with them on Monday, as I.
Try and get some legal advice before you're going to that meeting. Okay. See if we can have it waived. All right. See if we can get it waived now, please. This thing has been going on for right. Resolution for additional water committee. Based on what I'm hearing, gentlemen, we will wait in vain. There's no such intent from the Ministry of Local Government. Right? So, you want to say we can facilitate it?
No, I'm asking whether the budget by this council has been accepted by the local government.
Well, you had taken a position yesterday. It was.
I was here.
You weren't here. Okay, it was accepted. The budget was accepted.
So my question is whether
And let me hasten to point out, the budget was accepted, but not in its entirety.
Yeah.
We have to find some $200 million from one source, and the budget that was agreed on by the ministry is $1.5 billion.
yes, which is coming from the ministry.
Yes. No, I just put that
Yeah,
in
man.
perspective. Yeah.
So, but was the line item existing or not existing?
Okay, well,
That is the question.
that's why.
So, because you submit a budget, the ministry can say that is not something that is permissible, or they can say, well, they accept it, but you are finding extra dollars out of this particle. So that is the question I have for CEO.
When we get an approved budget from the ministry, they don't give us a line for line approval. They give us a general approval by the departments.
Okay.
So we don't get it by line for line.
So was this item included in the budget that has been approved? That is, we are asking.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, but
It is in there.
however, stated by the chairman, the budget was slashed by 200 million. The approved figure was slashed by 200 million, which means that we have to find that 200 million, which would include that amount that was in there. So we have to slash that. When we do the line for line, we have to slash that.
Let us slash
It's
something.
approved. So that means that it doesn't have anything in there that is ultra-virus. That is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it is within the remit. It is just that the local authority will have to find the resources. And what I am going to say is that this local authority, if it operates efficiently and effectively, so when I look across the table and I look at Mrs. Marsh, who's in charge of commercial services, the department must be operating efficiently. Because when I drop, Mr. Manning is up there laughing. Because I believe that there are millions of dollars out there that are uncollected sums
We said it here yesterday.
under the signs and so forth, and the other aspects of things. When I look at the superintendent, because we instituted something in this council, which was accepted even by other councils, that when you have illegal building or people building in breach, and we detect them and we do the enforcement, and they have to make the real submission,
Find them.
there is an administrative fee that is charged and so forth. So it is there.
So you say that we can find that.
I am saying yes.
All right.
I am saying in respect to the rent that is to be collected down at the Bourgland, which is 20 million at
All right.
least,
Let us.
on and on. It is there.
All right. Put it in the form.
No, but well,
And-
the resolution is passed already. You know?
Yeah, the resolution is passed, but it went to Kingston, and based on my understanding, it wasn't given a very favorable response. So I'm saying that if it's something that we can do locally, what we need to do is to come up with a figure.
But that's what I'm saying.
Right,
If
right.
a figure has already been come up with, you know, and was
Okay,
placed
okay.
in the budget. It is not.
So
it
we're
is
not sure
it
if
is
when the
not-
budget cut, if that was a part of the budget.
No, I don't think don't understand it to say that the budget is cut. What I understand is to say, well, this is what you're getting from the ministry. That's what you just said, which is a certain sum. That doesn't exclude the other things as being, say, ultra-virus and cannot be included in a budget. So it is already in our budget.
Let us see how we can do that, because there's no doubt that chairman of committee has to. And this is why I said, let us, at our next finance meeting, let us look at a figure. And I think it can work. Resolution for municipal police to prepare and execute summonses. Have we heard anything on that? Serve notices under the public nuisance regulation.
No update from the
anything like that?
ministry for that, Mr.
Resolution to
Chairman.
rename Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, that has been done already. We are now waiting on a date that is convenient to both Mr. Chambers and the municipal corporation for us to have a civic ceremony to, well, the street is already renamed. It has been gazetted, but we're just waiting on his availability and us to have a ceremony to recognize the naming of such Gloucester Avenue. Resolution seeking to upgrade the fourth floor, still not completed yet. Sue, you have the estimate? Should be completed next weekend. I was told that. Resolution for the St. James to develop impact fee. How far are we with that? Are we doing the research? I know Councillor Magian has done some research. I know whenever time I go to meetings where there are the mayors, it is something that they support. And I'm saying that we probably need some legal advice and some legal drafting on that matter to see how we can make it workable in St. James. And we'll soon get to that point where we will discuss the whole question of having a legal person in-house. Resolution to commission study on drainage system. I think Councillor Sinclair has moved that resolution, and since that time, I know a number of discussion is taking place, and based on what was announced 2 weeks ago at the Civic Center, and there's no doubt that St. James need a proper. Yes. You have a preliminary one. Well, we have something. Is it with? Yes.
This morning, the study that I had spoken about at Montego Bay, I have not yet reviewed it so that I can make comments.
Well, review it quick that we can take the exam now.
All right, sir. I
And
just
start
for
getting the
information.
drainage in place. Because we're gonna flood out soon. Resolution to review the need for NWA to exit repairing parish roads and stuff like that. Have we sent that off? I mean, that didn't come from our parish council.
Yeah, we.
Is we come from we? Okay. All right. How far have other council have accepted it? Have we gotten any response from any other council? None. There's a resolution here from, I think this one was from Councillor Vernon, supported by all of us here. Resolution for urgent stakeholders meeting for slum upgrading and disaster mitigation project, and for a feasibility study to be done. So that would be in line with exactly what you have there, Superintendent.
Yes, sir.
That would be in line with that.
Well,
It's just that he had just only singled out a particular gully.
North Gully, yes,
Yeah.
it's a part of.
It's a part of it.
this.
So
And from what
probably he could get himself au fait with that, and then he could be a part of that critical stakeholder. because
and also
he's a
from what
councillor
I
in
have
that
seen with the presentation that was done
Yes,
last week.
right.
It looked on
On these things. I think probably what we need to do now, so when we can meet with you and your technical team in a special meeting, possibly in the caucus room, where we can go through that, where we can better familiarize ourselves with everything that is there. Right? All right?
Yes.
Right, right. Because sometimes there are some explanation that you better be able to. Right? We are layman. You know, resolution for urgent stake. Oh, that's the one there. We have just gone through that. CEO resolution applying to the minister for order directing provision. Yes, this is another one, superintendent, and I think that this one was brought up yesterday. I don't know if you want to elaborate on it now, as it relates to cemeteries and the obligations and what needs to be done, and how far have you been with that since you intend to do some ASAP, because that area is badly needed for what we are advocating for.
just to quickly state that we are proceeding with
We are
the
proceeding,
act.
all right? And remember now, if there's any challenge and you need some clarity, the move of the resolution, in my opinion, I think he would not be averse to assist you in putting it together. Resolution to rename Sunset Boulevard Godfrey Dyer Boulevard. I know that that has been signed off on, and I've signed some document and it has gone back to the ministry. It was gazetted. Oh, great. When was it gazetted?
Gazette as yet, sir, but we were told by the Jamaica Printing Service this morning that it was gazetted and they're going to send us a copy of it.
Okay, great. So Sunset Boulevard is now officially Godfrey Dyer Boulevard, of which the necessary ceremony will be arranged to have such area renamed. Resolution to rename Southern Cross Boulevard to Tony Hart Boulevard. I know that there's some technical difficulties there as it relates to directions and where the road stuff and so. So that is a work in progress. Expedite the process, you. Let us move. Serving of traffic ticket, member of municipal police. Have we heard anything from them? Have we heard anything? Okay. Portland?
Yes, sir.
Has supported the resolution. But why did others would not ask? Okay. Resolution from the Ministry of Health to investigate the use of disposal of dental amalgam by the Jamaica Dentistry. That was sent to the Ministry of Health. Where, okay, have we gotten back anything on that? Okay, resolution for the renaming of Quebec Road in Iron Shore as Dr. Horace Champ Boulevard. Is there, you have anything on that, Sue?
We got a letter from the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation.
Yes, yes.
It's a letter stating that the ring road, as we will probably call it, will cut off a part of this road, and they will be changing the alignment at the end. So it's up to us now to determine if we want to go ahead now to name that area. However, there was some discussion with the mover of the motion, and he said he will seek to have further discussion from caucus before he presents something.
All right.
But
Well, next
we
month
can-
we'll come to you with something.
Yes, sir.
Because we might just name the ring road. Okay, all right, good. Proposed employment of in-house attorney. Gentlemen, this is an area that we need to address. And I know the resolution was, and based on my understanding, we we can inform the Ministry of Local Government, but we will be paying the bill. So I think we can proceed at looking at terms of reference. And I've spoken to the CEO for us to look at what the KSAC has and what the ministry has. So hopefully we will develop that and then we will move to advertisement. We are now on to Mayor's announcement. Gentlemen, councillors, Mayor. I can understand that. I don't think you will have a second thought. Yes, Mayor's announcement. Yes, no, not there yet. It will be there now. Mayor's announcement. Saturday, September the 15th at 11 a.m. Councillor Richard Vernon, who has lost his stepfather recently. There will be a funeral service at the convention center. There will also be a wake or a night, the 14th, Friday the 14th at Foreigners Park in Irwin. I will ask those of us who can make it, both to the funeral and to the wake. Try and make it. There's also funeral service for a poor relief officer, Shelley Ann Robinson's mother, this Sunday. I don't understand. Oh, Saturday. Oh, same Saturday, yes. Saturday is September the 15th at 1 p.m. at the Barrett Town Wesleyan Holiness Church. I would like to use this opportunity to publicly extend condolences to both families and for us to now stand and observe a minute silence in the honor of these two persons. May their soul rest and light perpetually shines. Councillor Cook. Come sit down. Deal with the local board and then ask them motion. I'll come back, I'll finish with this.
So it's about time, gentlemen. Okay. We are on to the local board of health. I think I need a motion so we can have that representative make the presentation. Okay, seconder? Okay, very well. Local board of health.
Mr. Chairman, we have some 4
Good afternoon, everyone. Your worship, the mayor, members of the council, members of the council, councillors in the gallery and the media. Okay, Mr. Chairman. 1 minute, 5 minutes. 2,590 premises have been inspected so far, with 540 positive for mosquito breeding. We have done interventions for all of these that were found positive. And the AD's index is at 21%, but with the results from the intervention, so hopefully by the end of September, we will see a marked reduction in the AD's index from this program. So we will revisit these communities. And in terms of rodent control, we would like to thank the council once more for your contribution to this program for the Cornwall Gardens area. The bait stations have been procured for Cornwall Gardens, and we're in the process of procuring these stations for Granville and Tucker. In the Zoso area, the removal of the zinc fences in Crawford Street have revealed a need to do some rebating in that area. So we need additional funding to get some more baits to do baiting in Cornwall Gardens, Tucker, Granville, and rebating for Crawford Street. So we humbly seek the assistance of the council once more. Also, we would like to remind you of our request for each councillor to adopt a health center in your area. We are having some budgetary constraints, and we would like for the councillors to assist us, as we all have the same goal. So we would like for you to assist us with the bushing and maintenance of the compound of some of our health centers. We would greatly appreciate your help. And with regards to the water trucks, Senator, we have a list of these operators, and our water quality officer has a program planned to have these swabbed and sampled in short order. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the corporation, as well as other meeting. From the other aspects of public health that I'd like to make you aware of, just highlighting sections. You may have heard of the recent release of the Jamaica Healthy Lifestyle Survey, the third one, which was conducted during the period 2016 to 2017. The statistics are not very pleasing, but we hope to be able to use from this survey to develop policies which would be implemented with urgency to seek to combat against non-communicable diseases, which is on the rise. Just to share a few pertinent things that would be relevant to us and what we need to do. The preliminary reports would have indicated that 80% of Jamaicans surveyed had a positive blood test for chikungunya. That is
Say that again.
significant.
Say that again.
80%.
I read it. I wonder if it was a mistake.
No, it's not a mistake. Well,
80%?
yes, 80%. Remember, chikungunya really had affected the majority of persons. We would have been an immune population having been exposed to this at any point. What would have been challenging to understand is that in the initial onset, the ministry would have been reporting confirmed cases, meaning persons would have come in, had a blood test done, and the sample sent to the lab and confirmation was done. However, subsequent to that initial stage, not everybody who came in would have been tested, and there would have been a lot of persons who also did self-treatment, in addition to those who may have been asymptomatic but still had the virus. Therefore, the numbers reported would not have actually matched the numbers that existed if we were only reporting confirmed cases. Even within the survey, we would have noted that maybe about much less persons actually reported having chikungunya than those who, having been tested, were found to have chikungunya.
Oh.
It means that our vector control program must continue in earnest. This is the only way of really getting control of our vector-borne diseases. Zika would have come on after chikungunya, and whereas unfortunately we would not have had the capacity to do population-based testing to really understand the true prevalence of Zika as we would have done for chikungunya. However, certainly we know that dengue is also transmitted in the same way, and we are usually in a cycle where every 2 to 3 years there's an outbreak of dengue. So we want to use this statistic to guide us as we move forward in ensuring that our vector control program is a priority. Other things to note had to do with lifestyle diseases and the chronic diseases. So the 50% obesity or overweight of all our Jamaicans, 34% having hypertension and 30% having pre-hypertension. What is worrying is that 60% of our men in particular were unaware of their hypertensive status. Could I do a survey in this
60% of those who were
percent of our men who were surveyed, which is a representative sample.
Okay.
You can generalize to the population based on how the survey was done. Were unaware
I'll
of
bring my
their
machine and let us all
status.
test. Carry on, last test
The
your
number
hypertension.
of persons, it was, I don't know the exact figure, but it was certainly over 3,000 persons who were assessed.
Oh, Kita.
Again, diabetes also, and the trend is increasing. So with every survey, the one done in 2000 would have been the first, and then 2007, 2008, the second, and now 2016, 2017, we continue to see a rise. 11, anemia in our reproductive age group was more than 20%, and skin bleaching, 11%, that's also of concern. Depression, 14%. 18% of participants were engaged in moderate or high physical activity, which means 82% were in low, and only 52% had made any attempt to increase their physical activity over a year. 70% reported having inadequate access to safe, adequate and nutritious foods. So all of this speaks to the fact that we need to increase our health education. We need to move even more than just talking about it, but engaging persons and ensuring that behavior change takes place. Obesity, overweight, nutrition, those components are the second highest risk factor, second to smoking, that contributes to chronic diseases and cancers. So our Jamaica Moves is very timely, the Jamaica Moves initiative that is being promoted significantly by our Honorable Minister of Health, Dr. Christopher Tufton, which focuses on physical activity and good nutrition, is something that needs to continue with greater intensity. And as of September, we will be moving into the schools. Again, a lot of these issues at our stage has gone through the gate. But if we start early and ensure that our children and youth develop good habits for physical activity and eating habits and general lifestyle habits, then we would be better off for the next generation coming.
Okay.
So we'll be working with our schools to move that forward whilst we continue with the workplace wellness program. And we admit, as a health department, we need to revisit what's happening here at the municipal corporation. We know you had opened your gym. We're not so sure how many persons are utilizing that space, but we want to recommend highly that your workplace wellness program be put
That
on
is
the
working
front.
somewhat, Doc. If you notice, some of my counselors are now getting.
That
But
is
Mr. Thomas here as yet. I'm seen in the gym at Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Hey, doctor telling you. Okay,
Yes, you
good.
do.
Tell him, Doc.
Yes, you do. For physical activity, we recommend 1 hour per day, each day. If you're losing weight, well, 1 hour if you need to lose weight, 1.5 hours if you need to maintain, and certainly at the very least 30 minutes per day, every day, minimum 3 times a week. For the month, we want to share with you some commemorative events that will be coming up for September. We have Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and again, this council is predominantly men in the over 40 age group, which is the group that we're targeting for prostate. Pardon my assessment of your age is off. But we want to bring to the awareness, prostate cancer is really high on the list of cancers that affect us and is our leading cause of death in men, especially Black men. We will be partnering with the Jamaica Cancer Society for the annual prostate screening, which will take place at the Montego Bay Cultural Center. Every year, we target about 600 men to have their PSA, that's a blood test done, and the digital rectal examination done. And we have been doing very well for the past 6 years. So we anticipate a good turnout, even though we would have shifted the day from Monday to the last Friday. For the month of September, we'll also be observing Breastfeeding Awareness Week. Again, we speak to the men who are very influential in the practice of breastfeeding and want to encourage them to support our mothers to ensure exclusive breastfeeding in the first 6 months of life. You agree with me that the breast is best? Please. Caribbean Wellness Week and Senior Citizens Week are also 2 activities that we will be observing. In respect of public health breaches, we have served closure notices on Chance Rehabilitation Center, which had facilities at Leaders Avenue as well as the one at Roehampton. And a closure notice was also served on Angels Daycare and Preschool in Adelphi. And a work plan was issued to the Mount Salem Police Station. For disaster, we also did a joint visit with NEPA at the retirement dump. And there are some issues that we really need to address. We need to take decisive action with regards to open burning and coal kilns that would be in the area. So whereas the retirement dump itself is not burning, we would have identified burning in other areas, which is causing a nuisance to persons, not just in that area, but beyond. For disaster preparedness, the Health Department continues to actively review our preparedness plans for hurricanes. And we are also looking at our mass casualty plans. In particular, we will be participating with the Sangster International MBJ in their annual safety simulation exercise, which is scheduled for October. And volunteer mission groups, we will be facilitating in the parish, some groups in the months of October and November. So we have a dental group that will be at Mount Carey and Maroon Town Health Centers, October 4th and 5th. The corporation will be aware of the Atlanta Montego Bay Sister Cities, which will be at St. John's Methodist, October 8th to 12th. And Great Shape will also be doing dental services in November at Summerton All Age and Springfield Baptist Church. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for such comprehensive report. I think what we need, though, and you have hinted at it, I think we need an aggressive education program. We need an aggressive education program to go right across the communities to sensitize community members. Because I have always think that there's a staple that is used more than any other protein in Jamaica, chicken back. And nothing have fat on it like chicken back. And I just think that